Merry Christmas. Let's just pull that down so it's not, awkwardly in the frame there. Well, I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. Mine was actually all right. Big thanks to Kenny O'Connor from the Outcast Creative, who came round to see me and made sure I was not on my own. And we had a blinding Christmas dinner together. We watched all three of the original Star Wars trilogy, special editions, unfortunately, but very enjoyable, even though I spotted something I hadn't noticed in Return of the Jedi special edition. They've added a Darth Vader no on the end when he chucks the Emperor down into the chasm. I did not spot that before, but it's in there. Watch and check. I'm guessing that they wanted to add that for sort of a continuity of shitness with the prequel moment, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to be bringing some guests in. Mainly today, we're going to talk about the hits and the misses of 2023. I think we can probably agree it's been a year of more misses than hits, sadly, but there are some gems out there that I've seen. One film I just watched the other night. I'm going to talk about that, but let's have a look who's in the chat before I bring my guests in. We've got Furcanell, season's greetings from Lance, to Lance from Greg. Sorry, I knew that. Just testing. David Macy in the house. Desert Phoenix, what's up, buddy? I definitely will do a new gaming stream with you soon, but my voice has not been up to a gaming stream, and we probably won't go super long tonight, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I didn't I didn't have the energy to do my Christmas hello last night. I should have actually cancelled the stream, but I forgot. Sorry about that. Yeah, too busy watching the Star Wars trilogy and dealing with my Darth Vader nose. Miss Martin's Muses is in the house. Good to see you. Thanks very much for popping in. Merry Christmas. So let me bring in some of my guests. First of all, a late addition to the party, but not to the channel. I'm amazed he's still standing, considered the wide variety of alcoholic, fruit-favoured beverages he drank last night. It's Blue Collar Loser.
I'm breaking this in for you. So this is a Christmas present. I got two of these for martinis.
Okay. I'm going to show people the Christmas presents I got this year.
Nice.
In just a second. Look at that. Super chat, $4.99.
Wow.
I need to work out the whole Facebook tax form thing, but I'll probably set up a special private stream with someone to go through that with me. Next in the house from up north, we have the king of the gay northerners, Northern Bastard. How's it going?
Yeah, good to see you recovering again, and hope everyone had a Merry Christmas.
I am doing my best. Yeah, not too bad. Still got this lingering cough. I think it's going to be with me for a few weeks to come.
Kicking its ass, mate. You're kicking its ass. Don't worry.
Last but by no means least, it's the man who pens my posters, and long may that continue at the incredibly reasonable rates at which he charges me. It is the Stupenzo.
Free 99, baby. Yeah, you don't know about the nerd from Return of the Jedi?
Do you know what? And I saw that at the cinema, and I completely missed that.
They updated a little bit each time. So, I think this was on the most recent, Blu-ray release or whatever.
Yeah,
they added the no.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that no was not on the original.
No,
it wasn't.
Cinema. It wasn't, was it?
I don't remember.
It wasn't. The rips the movie again.
It's also trying to validate the prequels, and also yeah. I wanted to make sure that we all understood that Darth Vader was not happy about throwing the Emperor down the chasm.
We already knew that, though. Even as a big kid, I knew it.
And it's actually more effective if he says nothing and he just picks him up and do it. Because if he says something,
less is more.
You picture Darth Vader being stone faced and grabbing the guy, and no, you son of a. But instead, the fact that he's no,
Somehow Palpatine survived.
Yeah, and I mean, also that's a bit of a warning to Palpatine. I'm going to shout out no and warn you. Could have just turned around and electrocuted me.
But also, honestly, like, here's the thing: Darth Vader does say no when he's throwing Emperor down the chasm. This is how he says it: no. You know, like that. Like he shouldn't be like, no, leave Britney alone.
Yeah, get the despecialized versions. Believe me, get the despecialized versions on Blu-ray. You will not regret it.
No, I mean, I've my friend Matthew's got them. I would like to own those. I've got original VHSs still of the normal.
Even better.
Wow. Anyway, let me show you the Christmas gifts that I got, guys. Enzo's going to be particularly impressed because these match his T-shirt. So I have these wonderful Yoda socks.
Yoda.
You have Grogu socks. By Melissa Stanton of the Outcast Creative. Thank you, Melissa.
Nice. So your feet won't be cold ever again with those.
And
socks.
Apparently, this came with it. And apparently, you put this baby Yoda in the microwave, and it's like some sort of hot pocket baby Yoda for you to
take. Has it got a little sand in it? Has it got sand in it or something?
Yeah, some kind of
weird. I think Ezra Miller would like that, putting babies in the microwave.
Yeah.
Tuck Grogu deep into your pants to warm your groin.
I can't bring myself to put Grogu in the microwave. I just can't.
I would love it. Yeah. Does you have like a baby, like where he's like putting his hand on the screen, like help?
Yeah, and he's still got the little hook thing. Now, one of the fans of the channel said he was sending me a Prezi, and it arrived actually on Christmas Eve or just before. So that's a tube. It's not an improvised bazooka, although you know when you're a kid,
you're a commando over there.
Yeah, used to run around. Any tube would be a bazooka, wouldn't it, when you were a kid?
Or a phallus. A phallus.
This is a poster for one of my favorite movies. I just happened to mention it.
Hey, let's guess the movie.
Yeah, okay. Try and guess the movie.
A Bridge Too Far.
Let's play a little game. It is not a Bridge Too Far.
All right.
And this is an American quad, not a British quad. So it's one of the portraits. But okay, so I'm going to give you 2 guesses each. So Enzo's got one more. Okay, so blue collar. Any guesses?
RoboCop.
It is not RoboCop. I already have the poster for RoboCop, actually.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Yeah, I've got a British cinema quad of that.
Let's all guess once, and then you can give us one clue, and we'll all guess.
That would help
okay, so Northern Bastard. You have a guess?
Give me a guess. Were Eagles there?
No. So this was on most Christmases when I was growing up. It stars somebody whose career has fallen from grace. There's a clue for you.
Not Kevin Spacey.
I was also going to say Kevin Spacey too. But then which Kevin Spacey movie? A holiday movie that Kevin Spacey's in.
Well, I didn't say it was a holiday movie, nor did I say Kevin Spacey was in it. I just said it stars somebody who's fallen from grace. That's and
you said it's something that's popular around this time of year.
No, well, something that was always on the TV when I was growing up.
I gotcha.
At Christmas time, it would commonly get screened.
It's very old. It's an old ass movie.
Not Jay Savile, is it?
Desert Phoenix is saying Showgirls. No, it's not Jimmy Savile the movie. I don't think there is one.
I unironically like Showgirls. I think that's a fun movie.
I like Showgirls. Showgirls is a fun film.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
definitely a lot of reasons why to watch it.
I can think of at least 3. Gina Gershon being one of them. Okay, so no, it's not. It's an action thriller.
All right,
action thriller starring. It's got 3 big names in it. 4 big names actually.
Old because
4 big names. Yeah,
classic.
There's an element of conspiracy. Giving you lots of hints.
The Maltese Falcon? No, that's too old.
No. Okay, that's Enzo's second guess. So it's down to Blue Collar Loser and Northern Bastard for the £2 million prize.
Yeah. Big Stars, action thriller, classic. Once Fallen from Grace. The
Great Escape. That's a good guess, David, because it was always on at Christmas. But I don't think I can't think of an actor from The Great Escape whose career fell from grace. A Bridge Too Close is not actually a film.
Yeah.
At least if it is,
I'm just gonna say Die Hard.
Yeah. now.
Who's in Die Hard? Whose career's fallen from grace?
I'd say Bruce Willis. That's right. That's really
Yeah.
subjective.
He has dementia.
No. This is somebody who's had serious legal trouble.
He had
he
got Me Too'd or drug alcohol issues.
Or you can drop
was it
a
Wesley
hint,
Snipes? Wesley Snipes
we
with
were
his
dropping
tax
a hint
evasion?
like how Bruce Willis's career was.
You're getting warmer. You're getting
really?
warmer.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on, Luke, help us out, man.
Oh, damn, fuck it. 4 people.
Oh, it's Bill Cosby. God damn it. Is it Bill Cosby?
getting warmer, much warmer.
Shit.
How old is the film?
It's an oldie because it was on the telly when I was growing up.
He's not going to tell us
So
exactly.
it's got to be a movie from.
Just guess so
Got
we
to
can
be a
finish
movie
this
from
game.
the 70s. I would say.
God damn it.
From the 70s.
Damn it. Yeah, I've not a clue then. Not a clue. There's too many that falling from grace at the moment.
I'm going to show you the poster.
It's 4 big names too.
Here we go. We're going to do the unveiling of the poster.
Oh my god! All right, first one to call it.
Can you guess now?
No. Keep rolling.
Now?
Oh, 2001. No, that's not it.
No.
It's an astronaut.
2001 is not an action thriller.
All right.
Okay.
It
is.
I have no idea.
Capricorn
1.
Yeah, no wonder we didn't get it.
I can't do
check it out then.
OJ Simpson is the star.
Oh, right.
I was close, wasn't I?
Honestly, I'm not sure if I ever saw the film.
Orange Juice Simpson.
Capricorn 1.
I love the theory that O.J. Simpson's son is actually responsible for that that murder, and O.J.'s just covering for him.
Has anybody not seen that film?
Yeah, I never seen it. Shit.
Oh,
I didn't even.
Man, dude, you want to watch it? Watch it later.
Okay, yeah,
it's an amazing film, and I want to do a chat about it at some point.
Yeah, sure.
But it's basically the plot is great. It's the Mars program is under kind of threat of having its funding cut, and it's the first manned mission to Mars. So the powers that be, in order to make sure that the funding is not cut for future missions, they decide to fake it. And then lots of shit goes wrong, and so the astronauts are basically, they've got to kill them, and the astronauts are trying to expose it. It's a really good
story.
Really good thriller. Elliot Gould is one of the leads.
In 1977, okay.
Yeah. Really good score.
Unfortunately, that came out the same year as another sci-fi movie came out, and that's
I wonder which one.
Because before Star Wars, everything was like Capricorn 1, the Andromeda Strain, 2001. Everything was like real cerebral and like subdued and trippy and weird.
But it's got a great score by Jerry Goldsmith as well.
I love him.
Fantastic score.
Goldsmith.
I shall check it out now.
Really enjoyed Capricorn. I saw it at the cinema recently because they did a screening of it at the Prince Charles that shows older films. So I got to sit on the big screen. There's a really funny line right at the beginning where everybody's gathered to watch the rocket launch, and they're giving out these commemoration binoculars, especially for the launch. And the senator is kind of like looking down into the stands at this woman's breasts, and the guy who's with him says, "Senator, it's the big long white thing straight ahead of you on the launch platform. You can't miss it, sir." He's not looking at the rocket, Anyway, okay, 2023. Let's get into it. So here's a funny thing, right? I scrolled down all the movies and people in chat. You can have it. We're going to talk
Sprite for now.
You're just drinking Sprite out of a martini glass, a margarita glass?
Well, for Lance, this is my breaking my margarita glass. So
very good.
You're not breaking it in if you're not drinking booze.
Well, you're really classing it up now, Blue Collar.
I do it. That's right.
Okay, so we're going to talk movies first, okay? And I went through the list of the first 100 titles that come up on IMDb. Now, I haven't seen Godzilla -1 yet, which I appreciate will be in a lot of people's lists. I have watched Shinzilla because I watched it today.
Did you think? What did you think? What did you think of that?
man, that is a fucking batshit crazy film.
Right, dude.
With
That's
the
my
big
favorite one.
Japanese.
I was talking about how I like it a little bit more than -1, even though -1's objectively a better film, especially when you talk about mainstream audiences and getting that emotional core. But I love Shin Godzilla, and when he busts out his atomic breath for the first time, it's like, holy Lord, this is serious.
Yeah.
This is insane. What was your face when you saw him bust out his purple laser and slice?
Well,
buildings
yeah,
in
and I
half?
mean, just also then they have that plan to sort of capture him at the end, and
Yeah.
it's got like 7 operational levels.
Yeah,
Fortunately, with 6 levels of drone attacks in case the first
it's like a
5
war
don't
movie.
work.
It's like plotting and planning
Yeah.
and getting all the things lined up and stuff. Hell yeah, I loved it.
Never have I seen a film with so many different departments having governmental meetings.
Dude, double subtitles. There's subtitles on the top and the bottom of the frame saying like who's talking and where they are,
Yeah.
and then the bottom's like the dialogue. It's like, holy crap, dude, this is so dense.
And some of the
very similar to 1985 Godzilla there as well, except a bit more extreme.
Yeah, definitely with like all the bureaucratic scenes of like, and you think, you hear about how it's all these like bureaucratic meeting, and you think it's like, that sounds boring, but you watch it, it's so riveting. You're
no,
like,
it's actually really, I have to say, those scenes are actually really engrossing because they feel so real. And I really liked the first 20 minutes where you kind of weren't sure what it was, and the first thing you saw was the tail. And then, but I will say though, the first time they revealed the monster, it looked like this kind of like cartoon Muppet from Fraggle Rock, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Everyone has that reaction. It's like, "What is this?" And then you grow to like it more. But like the fish eyes, the fish eyes are so weird. But it's
like a big Kermit the Frog stomping around. Hey, I'm gonna crush your buildings. Hey!
It's lifeless. Like, what's up, Leroy? I loved it. I'm glad you watched it, man. I watched a weird ass movie just now called Saltburn.
Boy.
Well, I've seen that. Actually, well, let's. Who has anybody not seen Saltburn?
That sounds awesome. I want to check it out just on the name alone.
On my to-do list, but I've heard things.
Well, the scene where the guy decides to devour the contents of the bathtub.
Yeah, I read about that part.
Man, I just like my stomach just wrenched. And hey, I said Leroy could come on this last show. So, dude, I will send you.
Come on, Leroy.
Leroy Peter.
Leroy, we're talking about your favorite films and TV shows of the year, as well as the disappointments. Saltburn is one of those films, right, that's going to get shitloads of awards, lots of nominations, and the acting is good. But man, as a movie, I didn't give a fuck about anybody. I didn't care about anybody. The main guy is a kind of narcissistic, manipulative prick. All the people that he's visiting are all narcissistic, horrible people.
Yeah, everyone's horrible, and the surprise twist is one of the guys was extra horrible, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay. All right.
So I it wasn't like Succession, where Succession is just, it's deliciously fun watching them all tear each other apart. Here it was kind of less fun.
Yeah, just very bisexual, debaucherous, hedonistic lifestyles just being paraded on film and celebrated. It was weird. Like nobody learned a lesson or anything. I don't know.
Nah, a lot of homoerotic sort of strange, weird shit happening.
Dude, that's how the kids roll these days. Polyamory, pansexuality.
Yeah.
You mean they have a fetish for pans and pots?
No,
disgusting.
Apparently pan means like you'll have sex with anything, which is even worse. It's like as long as if I meet something, if I meet a raccoon that I'm sexually attracted to, it's on.
It means you'll have sex with a whisk.
I won't throw anything off the table. And it's like, maybe you should put some things off the table. I don't know.
Guys, give it up for Leroy. He's in the house.
Hey, Leroy.
Hello,
how you guys doing?
Hey.
Pleasure to meet you finally. You've always been in the chat on these streams.
The pleasure is all mine. I'm here at my parents' house in Maryland for Christmas, and my birthday's this Friday.
Hey.
So
I'll be 45 years young.
Jeez.
So you're a Sagittarius or a Capricorn?
Capricorn.
How does that work? Yeah, I don't know my horoscopes.
I don't believe I'm a Christian man. I don't believe in horoscopes.
Leroy's also an accomplished author, and he writes a lot of like Western books and novellas. So he's a big fan of
fur trade books. I just published my 10th book back in November called Saga of the Armstrong Brothers, Book 6, Where the Eagles Fly. You can find it on fantasticfiction.com. And I just submitted my 11th book this past Christmas Eve. So I'm starting a new
Congratulations.
Leroy, you can plug all that stuff at the end when we wrap up.
Oh yeah, I apologize. No.
It's all right, man. Don't worry.
You asked what my favorite show this year was. I'd have to say, if you don't mind, Lance, can I say it?
No, well, we're doing movies first.
Oh, movies.
Movies first.
Movies first.
I'm going to go round.
Okay.
I know what mine are. So actually, I'm going to start because otherwise people will probably pick them out. So look, I went through everything that I saw movies wise, and I would say overall, there's one film missing from this list, but overall, these are the films that did it for me in 2023. Sound of Freedom, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning was good, The Killer, Ferrari, and The Holdovers. Now, the one film that's missing from that list, which I highly recommend, just want to get the pronunciation of it right, and I just saw it yesterday. It's just dropped on Netflix 2 days ago. It's called I think the title of it is something like Mar Barat. It's basically about here we go. Here's the poster. I'll share it with you guys. It's about the group of Malaysian soldiers who drove the APCs that went in to rescue the American Rangers that were caught in the Black Hawk Down incident. So these are the guys who fight their way in to Mogadishu, and they took some American Rangers with them.
I never heard that story.
Yeah, it's. I mean, everybody's heard the Black Hawk Down story, but no one's really heard the story of the guys that fought their way in a very hostile city.
Because I'm a veteran myself, so So I don't know how many times I've seen Black Hawk Down. So
well, you know, when you see the APCs turn up at the end, and Ewan McGregor's in one of them, and he's going, "Come on, get out of here! These things are bullet magnets and all that." Well, this is the story of the guys that drove those trucks
from the UN.
Who had to it's a Malaysian combat unit, and they had to fight their way in. 2 of the trucks actually got lost and were destroyed, which I never knew about. One of their drivers was killed. I never knew that either. And they were given special mention by the American military, but not for a long time afterwards. And all the letters of citation and stuff from the American commanders that were there on the day are all on screen at the end of the movie to verify their involvement. So I knew nothing about it. I highly recommend it. It's extremely well done. The combat scenes in it are fantastic. I'd say it's almost as good as Black Hawk Down. Hasn't quite got the same star caliber, obviously. Paul Bidis, who's ex-Special Forces, was the military advisor on it, who of course I interviewed recently, who worked on Napoleon. We'll get on to that shortly.
I haven't seen that one yet, Napoleon.
Well, but you might have saved yourself some time there, mate.
I'm still hoping to see it. I'm still hoping to see it because my major was history, so I'm a big history buff. So I'm still hoping to see it.
Well, I mean, you should see it, but manage your expectations. So those are my
not a whole lot of history in that movie.
Yeah, those are my. I'm just going to add that film to the list. But anyone who hasn't seen it, who even has a vague interest in military history, definitely add Malbat to your watch list. It's available on Netflix now. So Blue Collar, what were your favorite films of 2023?
Number one talked about with Lord Toxic, and Drinker liked it, but The Covenant with Jake Gyllenhaal, because just what it represents and knowing this stuff actually happened, and you see what a grown man will freaking do for a perfect stranger. Like the stuff that this guy went through to save this guy's life, and then the fact that the U.S. military, and oftentimes, America doesn't want to talk about the dark shit the military does, and the military flat out like just left this guy there just to die, him and his family. And Jake Gyllenhaal goes back and saves this guy, and just seeing what two people will do for each other. You know, this stuff's not about race, not about religion. It's about just a man saving a man. And just Jake Gyllenhaal, that speech he gives his wife, he's like, you know, if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't be here with you and the kids. And this guy, he did it because he was a good person. And, you know, we promised we'd save his life and help his family. And America just said, you know, fuck you. And like, no. So
Blue Collar, that kind of reminds me of what was that movie Mark Wahlberg did?
Lone Survivor.
Yeah, that reminds me. That kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, and I, as a veteran, I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen The Covenant, but I should. Thank you for telling me, because I'm a veteran, an Iraq War veteran, and we have a lot of allies that help. That if it wasn't for them, I don't think we would have been able to gotten Bin Laden or Saddam Hussein. And you know, that's what kind of scares me about all this Islamophobia that's been going around.
Yeah, man. I think my favorite scene in the entire film was a guy, Dar Salam, and seeing the trailer. At one point, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, he's walking him up a mountain. He's got this makeshift, basically like a cart. And because Jake Gyllenhaal's character is like, he's basically passed out for weeks at a time. And he can't get over a rock, and he puts the thing down. And it's a whole like 30-second pause of like, he's just sitting there like just a whole like, I'm defeated. I can't do this no more. By all accounts, he could and should leave this guy to die. And he's just like that last adrenaline rush. We're like, no, I'm going to get this guy to save his fucking life. But just that look of, I can't do this, you know? So,
yeah. I think we've all been there.
I have seen this film, actually. I think I saw it on your recommendation about a month ago. I have to say, I did really enjoy it. Would it be in the top 5? Maybe not, but it was a good movie. It's a solid film. Film. I maybe I'm a bit negligent perhaps in not putting it on my list, because it is a good movie. Directed by Guy Ritchie, surprisingly.
And that's why I was shocked, because Guy Ritchie did some pretty good action sequences, which I wasn't expecting from Guy Ritchie. This isn't his, you know.
It's not
It's a pretty good drama as well. Very dramatic. He did it really well.
Yeah, it's not a typical Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah.
All right, that's one from Blue Collar Loser. Bastard, you got one for me?
Well, apart from The Covenant, I will say it's going to be a very obvious one, because I rarely see new movies. I watch mostly old stuff, so it'll have to be recently Godzilla Minus One, because it did surprise me how great it was. And I'm not really a Godzilla nerd. Stupenzo's the man. Stupenzo's the man for that. But
hello.
It has kind of convinced me to maybe try and really get into Godzilla a bit more, because it's very emotional.
I would say watch the last two, Shin Godzilla and Minus One.
It's on my list.
Watch the first one, and then if you like that, you could start with the Heisei series.
Well,
in the 80s.
I've seen the original 50s one a long time ago, and I've recently watched the 1985 version.
All right, well, look, while you hold the conch and reminding Enzo that the Godzilla happy hour is closed at present.
It's only 9 hours, huh?
It's only 9.5 hours about him. I'm like having
I'll talk about this movie. I'll just talk about this movie in my little quick thoughts, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. What is it about this film that did it for you? Because there's a lot of monster movies out there. There's been a lot of Godzilla movies. What was it about this one that stood out, or just... Yeah, this is a good movie. I like this. Tell me.
Well, I kind of like how this guy is still burdened by his act of cowardice. You know, how his society sees him as a total coward. And he fails to see that. Are you
talking about Godzilla or some random scientist here?
The kamikaze pilot. Yeah, Kawachi.
He's the main... So he's the main character. He's a kamikaze pilot from World War II.
Yeah, and he bottles it.
Presumably, he didn't have a very successful career as a kamikaze.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. I tried to kill myself. He's like, how'd you get on, mate? Well, I failed, didn't I?
How'd you get on then?
Okay.
But I just like the fact that he fails to realise just how all the good he has done surviving his mission. You know, he's actually brought this lost woman with an abandoned baby and raised them, and they do a smart take where it looks like he is I ain't going to give it away, actually. I'll move on from that, because but it is very emotional, and whenever something devastating happens, you really do feel the impact it has on everyone, and how it's affecting them. And
Nice.
It does put you into a little bit of a state in the mind on the people that did suffer during the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks.
This scene is a bit of a homage to Jaws, isn't it? With like barrels.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. This I was definitely getting Monty Python and the Holy Grail vibes where they say "Run away, run away." This one.
I'm pretty sure my friend's Pussycats had this face before when it's.
Yeah.
He's very cat-like.
Stupenzo said that before, didn't you?
Said, yep.
Yeah, he's very feline faced. That's how I like him. I like it when he's a big kitty cat.
Not been fed properly, you know. So cool. What would you give it out of 10?
Oh, I hit 10 out of 10 ratings. But I will give it a 9 out of 10.
9.
Yeah.
And Blue Collar, what would you give The Covenant out of 10?
Covenant, I mean, for me, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, but like anything, you know, I feel just because like I'm telling to Leroy, but you know, Lord Toxic, it's just a human element, but just said seeing the US military very, very few often not painted in a good light in the military is really fucked up in this movie. So.
Right. Cool. Okay. Enzo, what's one of your favorites of 2023 movies?
I don't want to repeat anybody, so I don't want to talk about -1, and I don't want to talk about Holdovers, which were good, but probably top two. But I will go ahead and bring up the film When Beau is Afraid. That was so divisive and strange, and a lot you could talk about. I would say definitely watch that movie thinking it's a twisted, dark comedy. But
Beau is Afraid.
Yeah, the weird what's his name? Ari Aster film from with Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix definitely did a way better job in this movie than in Napoleon. And
was Napoleon that bad?
It was,
dude.
Let's not spoil it for him. We're going to do biggest disappointments in a bit, so we'll cover that later. I've seen this movie.
Much less monotone performance from Joaquin, and what a puzzling, strange movie that definitely isn't for everybody. And it definitely engrossed me. I was hooked by the first scene. Once we see what's outside Beau's house and what his like living situation's like, I was so hooked on this movie. It was bizarre, and obviously it's saying a lot metaphorically. And Ari Aster's insane. He has deep-rooted family issues, and that's very apparent in every movie he's made, with Midsummer and Hereditary, and his short film, The Thing About the Johnsons. Which is
right.
If you don't know that one, but out of this movie, like I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. But it's one of these movies that like I could probably watch a dozen times, and a dozen different people could have 24 different interpretations for what this movie's about.
Well, I saw it, and I actually forgot that I'd watched it, which probably isn't a good sign. Although you never
forget. I would never forget Joaquin Phoenix with those grapefruit-sized testicles that they keep showing in the movie.
Oh, God,
very strange.
When he gets the really big nuts, I forgot about that.
He has giant testicles, and that's something they mention. And it's like you see it a couple times, and they don't. You're like, what's up with that? Was it just me, or were his? Strange.
I feel we've got an obligation to go through the photos and see if we can get a picture of said nuts.
Giggity.
I don't think we should.
Yeah, please. I just ate.
I'll just send you guys in the private chat like a link to the picture, and you guys can look at it.
It does have a kind of Cohen sort of brothers meets. What's that?
Nathan Lane's a good actor.
He is good.
He's
a great actor.
in this one.
Parker Posey's good in this as well.
This movie's dark and twisted and weird and hilarious if you're fucked up like me. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but
no, that's right.
Explains it.
Yeah, but thanks for the warning. I mean it is a really strange film. It's one of those ones, like The Life Aquatic, Steve Zissou. It's sort of that kind of humor and. But there's some great acting in it though. Some really good acting.
Yeah, because of how ridiculous everything is and how like serious everyone's playing it. It's what I'd call art house type comedy. Yeah, strange. Also, some people might not think of this movie as a comedy, just like a weird, twisted drama. But I think it's less enjoyable if you interpret it that way.
It is quite an odd one. Well, for those people who haven't seen it, it's available now.
Yeah.
Check it out. Leroy, your turn, and your first time participating in one of these.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me on.
No, man, I said you could come. I'm glad you popped up in the chat because I changed the time of this a couple of times.
Yeah. I'd say my favorite. I didn't watch a lot of movies this year.
There weren't a lot of great ones to choose from. Let's be honest.
I'd say the two of my favorite movies this year that stuck out, that would vote 10 out of 10 each. The Equalizer 3, starring Denzel Washington, and Killers of the Flower Moon.
I did like Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean,
In fact, I have the book. After seeing the movie, I just started reading the book. I'm in chapter 4 right now of the book. But anyway, I'll start with Equalizer 3. What I loved about the Equalizer, I'm a big Denzel Washington fan. Since he did Glory.
Who isn't?
Since he did Glory.
Dude, I love that film.
Yes, if you haven't figured out about me right now, I'm a history buff. I majored in history in college after I got in the military, and I love history. This movie, which I think is going to be the last of the Equalizer series, was better than the first one, which says a lot because the first one was good. I wasn't too hip with the second one, but my favorite scene, other than this one, in the movie is when the guy he just killed, his brother, who's the head of the mafia, comes into town and threatens to kill the town. And Denzel Washington, basically armed with 2 guns, says, "Look, I've no pain, I've known suffering. And thanks to these people, I now know peace. And you ain't going to take that from me. I'm not going to let you take it from them.
Yeah.
I killed your brother because I asked him nicely to leave these people alone, and he wouldn't listen. So here I am. You want me? Fine. Just don't do it here." And the mafia, the brother's like, "This is the best place to do it." And the fact that Denzel Washington's character McCall was about to sacrifice himself for the entire town, the priest came out and said to him, "Son, you don't have to do this." McCall just hugged him and said, and then the people just came out with their cell phones and said, "You kill him, you kill all of us." That scene was priceless. And for those who haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil the rest of it. But one of the reasons why I like movies like The Equalizer and The Equalizer 3 is because I grew up watching shows where the good guys win and the bad guys get what's coming to them. Shows like Bonanza, Gunsmoke, Chips, Knight Rider, Airwolf. I'm not very big on these shows I've been watching, like Sopranos and Game of Thrones and The Shield. I mean, even The Wire. I mean, when did corrupt cops and gangsters and outlaws start becoming the main characters? You know what I'm saying?
Specifically after The Sopranos. Like The Sopranos was so successful, that was like the pivot towards these what you're talking about, these Walter White falling from grace characters.
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. I'm like tired of that stuff too. I want like actual heroism.
And that's what I love about The Equalizer and The Equalizer 3. But this one, which says a lot, was better than the first one. I even liked the Book of Eli. I don't know how many times I've seen it already.
I love Book of Eli. I love the Hughes brothers.
Book of Eli was good. Also,
I love all the Hughes brothers films. Are so fun.
Anybody want to agree or disagree with me about Equalizer 3? Or
I'm gonna.
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I'll just let you have your say. I was trying to find
kind of rude and presumptuous to disagree of what your favorite movie is. I disagree that you liked Equalizer.
No, I'm not going to disagree. I've got a comment on that film. I've got a comment on that film. I was trying to find the vinyl soundtrack to Glory, which I do own, to show you.
Now, I will say about Glory, I don't think Denzel Washington should have won an Oscar for that movie. I thought that should have gone to Morgan Freeman. I thought Morgan Freeman did a better job.
Yeah, he
more
was
than Denzel Washington. If anything, Denzel Washington should have won for Malcolm X. He should have been nominated for Devil in the Blue Dress, Courage Under Fire, and one of the Crimson Tide. Yes, Crimson Tide. He should have been nominated for Crimson Tide.
Well,
those were his best movies.
I think he did win for his best role though, which is Alonzo in Training Day.
Yes.
So good.
So awesome. I want to clarify something. A lot of black folks were angry that he was even nominated for Training Day because he played a corrupt cop. I'm a very inquisitive person, so I did research on Denzel Washington's life. That was the second time he ever played a villain. He's mostly known for playing good guys or flawed good guys.
Right.
His role as Alonzo in Training Day, that's probably the first and only movie in which I was rooting for the white guy to kill him. I wanted to see Denzel Washington die in that movie. I hated his character.
Denzel has said multiple times that Alonzo is his favorite role he's ever played. So
boy playing the villain. Huh?
That's only the second time he ever played a villain.
Who's the other one? Fallen? No.
I've never seen
he can play a villain in Fallen.
Has anyone seen an interview about the character who says, I don't think he's a bad guy, but I do think he's got some serious problems.
Alonzo. Now I will say this: the worst movie. Denzel Washington doesn't usually do bad movies, but the worst movie that I saw him in that I really didn't like was Fences. And maybe because I didn't like his character. We talked about how much he loves his wife, but then has no problem cheating on her and knocking up his mistress, and then even tries to justify it. I mean,
well, that's based on a
play
from Broadway, and it's a straight reconstruction of the original play. So you can't really blame him for that.
Yeah,
but Leroy, don't forget about Virtuosity. That's also.
I like Virtuosity.
I like Virtuosity. It's not a good. It's a bad movie, but I love it.
What about Taking of 1, 2, 3 Pelham?
Oh, that was a good movie. I like that.
Yeah, the original.
I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was his best.
The original film is way better, man.
Denzel Washington is rarely in a bad movie. Even like the first time he ever played a villain was early in his career. He did a movie called A Soldier Story, starring Howard Rollins.
Oh, that's a good film.
That was a good movie. And that was early in his career.
Red Brown's in that.
No, not Red Brown's not in that one. I know which one you're talking about, Lance, but Red Brown's not. This was a black movie. And about
A Soldier's Story. Is that not the one?
No. Red Brown's in another story. This one is about a black sergeant who nobody was killed, and a lot of people assumed it was the Klan that killed him, but really it was Denzel Washington who killed him. So, but check it out. It's a good movie. It's called A Soldier Story. It stars Howard Rollins.
From 1984, directed by Norman Jewison.
That's the one.
Yeah. No, I have seen it. I was just getting
David Allen Greer, right?
Yeah. David Allen Greer, Denzel Washington, Robert Townsend, all these guys who are stars today. This was early in their careers.
Yeah, Patti LaBelle's even in it, and Wayne
when I first saw this movie, I was shocked that she was in this movie. I didn't know she could act.
Nice. Lance, did you find your Glory soundtrack?
No, man, it's missing.
You know what's funny? My favorite thing about Glory is the character name Jupiter Sharts. That is one of the freaking coolest names I've ever heard.
I remember that.
Your
name's Jupiter. We need to start naming kids Jupiter again. Or
this is my
son.
Your children will never forgive you.
Oh, I know. Well, my name's Enzo.
Let me make one comment about The Equalizer before we move on. The problem I had with that movie is if any guy, let alone a black American, goes wandering into a mafia-dominated town in Italy and starts fucking up a couple of low-level soldiers, he's going to be dead within a couple of days. But as this is the realm of fantasy and it's a movie, I let that slide. But it didn't feel particularly, it didn't feel very grounded, even in film reality to me. I did have to really turn off for that. So it was an enjoyable film, but very forgettable.
I scored it a 10 out of 10. The second movie I saw this year that I liked, but I only saw it once because it made me mad. Like I said, I'm a history buff, was Killers of the Flower Moon. And when I first heard about this story, I thought I understood what pure evil really was. I mean, I'll say this about Hitler, Andrew Jackson, John Sherrington, and sorry, Trump fans, even Donald Trump. At least they're honest about their hatred and their racism and their bigotry. William Hale, played by Robert De Niro, and Ernest Burkhart, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, guys actually gained the trust of the Osage people, studied their language, married into the tribe, all for the purpose of gaining their money. The fact that Ernest Burkhart had 3 children with Molly didn't stop him from being involved in the murders of her 3 sisters and her mother. And that this is why I can only watch the movie once, because no movie has made me this pissed off. No, scratch that. No movie that is based on a true story has pissed me off this much since Rosewood.
Yeah. I like this movie too. One thing I did have criticism was the score. I liked the score when I first heard it. It was very cool and contemporary, but it just kept playing throughout the whole movie. And by the 3-hour mark, I was like, come on, man, something else with this, like this march, this like electronic guitar march. It was cool though. But I mean,
no, it was a good film. It's not my favorite Scorsese movie. It did make me very angry. It did make me look up the history.
Scorsese specializes in those falling from grace, like sympathetic villain stories, with Goodfellas and Casino and this one. And Leonardo DiCaprio is just kind of an idiot in this movie. You feel sorry for him.
I don't feel sorry for Leonardo DiCaprio's character because
I feel we were a bit manipulated with DiCaprio's character. I think he was more sympathetic in the movie than this guy probably was in real life.
I'm just a dumb old simple boy being taken away from my uncle.
I think he was completely in on it. He knew exactly what he was doing in reality.
And that's what is, and that's the only complaint I have with the movie, because as someone who's also pro-American Indian, I felt the movie focused too much on Hale and Burkhart when they should have focused on Molly.
Yeah,
she was. It should have been more on her than these 2 sons of bitches.
I actually think the whole film should have been told from the Indians' point of view.
No, yes, exactly.
And it kind of should have been, whoa, let's get rid of that.
Whoa, private docks and jets.
Yeah, I know. Let's quick, close those windows.
I'll give Scorsese credit. The fact that he brought the story to light and he rewrote the script, hired Osage extras to try to tell the story from their point of view. Even they said, they applaud him for that.
Yeah. You gotta, I mean, you have to nowadays. It's like you can't. It's not only commended nowadays. It's kind of encouraged. It's like you can't be having a bunch of what did we watch the other day? We were watching King Kong versus Godzilla, and all the natives are just like obviously Japanese dudes, like pretending to be like the King Kong natives. And I don't know. It's just that kind of stuff it just doesn't fly really anymore.
No, that's a little.
I mean, people just want to avoid the outrage, they just want to avoid the controversy, so it's like, and plus it does add the authenticity. Sorry, excuse me.
Okay, well, let's move on, because I've got a few things I want to cover. So I'm going to give you. That's right. You've had 2 films, so I'm going to let everybody else mention one.
I apologize for that, man.
That's right. Don't worry. I'll rein you in with my big hook. So I'm just going to hear one more film from each person, assuming you've got another one. I'm just going to mention, in addition to my list scrolling past, another new movie I saw yesterday was Nicolas Cage's latest film, the one where he appears in Everybody's Dreams.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it too.
Never saw it.
It's a really weird movie. It's got that kind of.
It's Charlie Kaufman, right?
Yeah. And it is a very, very odd film. Very, very good cast. I kind of like the premise. Nicolas Cage really reins it in the film, which is for him is a good thing. He does a lot of crazy, quirky, sort of make a sideline business on these kind of quirky characters. But the basic premise is that he starts turning up in people's dreams, and he's just there. He's just watching things, and initially this brings him a lot of attention and some sort of fame and notoriety. But then the dreams start turning really dark, and he's actually participating in kind of evil acts, and this forces people to shun him. His marriage breaks down, and it gives him the kind of attention that he doesn't actually want, and you really feel for his character. And then the film takes a really weird turn where you get this kind of whole sequence that's an advertisement for these sort of dream bracelets that allows you to access other people's dreams safely. The technology that all started because of him, which of course he's not really getting any recognition for.
Excuse me, Lance. Didn't Dennis Quaid make a similar movie like this back in the 80s?
You're thinking of Dreamscape.
Dreamscape.
It's nothing like Dreamscape. But that's a good quirky little film, but it's nothing like that. And then of course Gord King is in it in this scene. There he is sitting at the end with his cap on. So
yeah,
it's nice,
his publicist. Yeah.
nice to see him popping up.
Gord King's in the chat. He just mentioned.
Yeah.
He was brought up.
Hey, dude. Yeah, come on, Gord. I've sent you the link.
Speak of the devil.
We're literally
He was in a Nicolas Cage movie. That is awesome.
We're just literally talking about his.
That's Michael Cera. That's not Gord King.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the joke is he sounds like Michael Cera.
God, it's common knowledge among YouTubers that Gord King is secretly Michael Cera. So
I'll know.
yeah,
I love doing Superbad Man.
yeah. Want to give Julianne Nicholson a shout out in this film. She's phenomenal as Nicolas Cage's wife. Really good performance. I would say Oscar worthy personally. She's not going to get nominated, but I feel she should be. And good actress. I don't drive, but if I did, I'm pretty sure that would be written on my car. So
yeah, I feel you.
I'd be pissed off if that happened to me.
It's a good film. Has anybody else seen it apart from Blue Collar Loser?
No. It's on
I'm
the
And
list.
there's Christoph Borgli. And yeah, Nicholas Braun has a really small role in it. Of course, you may know him from Succession. It's a weird film. It's one of those ones where it makes you feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Charlie Kaufman, baby.
I wouldn't,
That's what he does.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's got a massive rewatch value, but you won't be bored. You won't be bored. It's a fun. It's a strange ride, but it's entertaining, and you can't ask for much.
Well, one of my favorite Charlie Kaufman movies also has Nicolas Cage as a adaptation. That movie's so out of the.
I like adaptation.
Awesome.
Really good. One of his best roles as well.
You know,
Was it two of his best roles?
yeah.
Lord Toxic is saying no love for anyone but you. Is that a movie that came out this year?
Yeah, we did a video on it Sunday. Yeah,
I have a confession.
Blue Collar, it's your turn. Do you want to pick that one to talk about?
On number 2, shockingly, I brought my kid to see it. Seeing the second time was Wonka. And if you would have told me 6 months ago, Chris, there's going to be because by the trailer, a Willy Wonka, a prequel film, Timothy Chalamet, it's going to be shit. I thought it was going to be crap. And I walk in there like, you know what? I got to review it. And I walk out like, oh my God, what did I just watch? I'm like, oh, tearing up and stuff and loving it. And the fact you can go into this and then go right in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that's hard to do. And the fact that they did that, I'm like,
you mean Charlie in the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory?
What, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Oh, the Johnny Depp one?
No, the Gene Wilder one.
Okay, so that's Willy Wonka.
But basically what you're saying is you enjoyed the new Wonka film.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's a decent movie. I think people were ready to hate on it.
Yeah.
Before it came out a bit unfairly. I think Timothy Chalamet is a very good young Wonka in it.
I haven't seen it, but there have been a lot of movies that people would hate on, but turn out to be good. Not this year, but I'm talking about in the past.
Talking of people love to hate, Michael Cera's in the chat. Gord King is here. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you.
I think his mic's on mute.
Yeah,
we good? There we go.
How's it going?
Hi, everybody. It's going great. How y'all doing?
It's nice to meet you, Mr. Sierra.
No, we don't call him that. He's Gord King.
Gord King.
We don't say
We
that.
love you and Juno, mate.
I call him Gordo or Gordy. I assume his real name's Gordon. That's why
we were just talking about your role in Dream Scenario, and I like the way you've aged.
My real name is not Gordon, though. By the way, that's not my real name.
Don't play with my dreams, dude.
So
a man can dream.
So the character of the Gord King's original name was Gordon, but not mine.
Good. We're talking hits of 2023.
And nice to meet you, also, Leroy.
We're doing movies. We're doing movies at the minute, buddy. Blue Collar's just mentioned Wonka. Have you also seen Wonka, Gord King?
I have not seen Wonka yet. No, I'm doing a little bit of catching up on some of the movies I haven't seen. Like I watched Asteroid City the other day. I watched Tetris today. I'll be watching Rebel Moon probably tomorrow. Yay.
Yeah. Tetris was good. Tetris was a good film.
I thought Tetris was great. Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Tetris is fantastic.
I kept meaning to watch that as well. There's loads that I need to watch. I really don't.
I'm gonna.
I think
Air
Tetris
as well.
is-
That's supposed to be a good one.
Air was good. Air was good, actually.
That was, and Lancet, I don't know if you've brought it up yet, but the movie that I wouldn't have seen without you being on that Saving Private Ryan Thin Red Line stream, The Cost is one of my favorite movies of this year.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic film. I really enjoyed it. So
Matthew Holmes will be very pleased to hear you say that. And I'm not gonna lie. Part of me was nervous going in, so I was like, "Gosh, this guy did a really nice thing, allowing me to watch this movie, early on. Watch basically what equates to a digital screener of it." But I was so impressed with that movie. Yeah, and it was
Michael
shot in the second lockdown for like almost no money.
Michael, I got a confession to make.
Okay.
I know who you are. I know you're an actor, but the only movie I've seen you in was Frequency.
Frequency? I just watched that the other day. He plays Gordo's friend.
I think that's the only movie I've not seen any of your movies other than Frequency.
Yeah,
I am so sorry.
For this
pretty funny.
For this ironic Michael Cera lore that's building up, it is kind of amazing that Frequency that Michael Cera's playing the son of someone named Gordo.
Yeah.
So
Good King.
I'm glad. I've only seen Frequency once. I didn't remember that. So
me neither.
I'm gonna have to add that detail to the lore.
Oh man, Frequency is one of my favorite films of all time. I just watched it again.
No, and we're talking the one with
Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel and just I liked it. It was pretty good.
Really good story. They could do so much more with that. I mean, you could do a TV series with that storyline. I just really. That's the last film I saw with my dad before he died.
I'm sorry about your dad, man.
It's all right, but it was because that whole film is about the relationship between a father and a son, and the son trying to save the dad and stuff. And man, it's such what a great last film to remember.
Well, I looked up Michael Cera. I'm like, what movie have I seen him in? Because I know I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim or all the other movies. So
no.
And
remember, it's a secret. Stop mentioning it. Right. So, all right. Let's move on. Blue Collar, you had one. Gord, you're fresh in with us. So, give us a favorite movie of yours of 2023 apart from Wonka, which you haven't seen yet.
Just out of curiosity, just so I know how many are we gonna name?
Well, we've picked out a few. That's my scrolling list, and I've added a couple that people have mentioned as we've been going along.
Killer, Ferrari, The Holdovers, Air Tetris.
We just talked about Killers of the Flower Moon. Actually, I need to put that on.
Yeah, I watched that last week. That was really, really good.
Okay, but pick something else because I don't want to talk about DiCaprio's funny face anymore than we have.
Has anyone mentioned Sisu yet?
No.
Sisu.
That was awesome.
What is that? I didn't even heard of that.
Sisu.
Watch it, man. It's
man,
crazy.
Sisu is basically you have this guy. He's digging for gold. He does pretty well for himself, we'll say, and he gets accosted by some Nazi soldiers. This takes place during World War II.
Oh,
and they don't realize
they're retreating.
He is one bad mofo, and he messes them up. It's great. It's an awesome film.
Yeah, it's very Tarantino-esque style, and it's
It doesn't have a dog.
Yes.
Yep.
Man, I wish I'd written this script because
the joke is this guy's John Wick's grandfather.
Yeah.
It's a John Wick. It's a John Wick grandfather origins movie.
I'm trying to remember what country is he supposed to be? Is he supposed to be Norwegian or
he's Russian?
Danish?
I think
Finnish. That's it.
Yeah.
Finnish.
He's from Finland. That's right. Yeah. And,
so basically, if this were Mortal Kombat, they would say finish him.
I was about to say
every
kill.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's and it's beautifully simple.
It is. It is. It's
This
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
group
definitely.
of Germans retreating. It's near the end of the war. They just want to get back home, but they're also kind of, full of that kind of big-headed Nazi bravado.
And this guy who leads this little group of Nazis, he's actually one of the members of the crew in The Martian.
Hmm.
He's
Is that
he's-
right?
Yeah, he's in The Martian. I was like, I saw him and I was like, gosh, he looks familiar. And I was like, wait a minute, he's the German guy in The Martian. At least I think he's playing a German in The Martian. But yeah,
I've seen this guy in a couple of other movies, but yeah, that's the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
Mhm.
back.
Yep.
This actor.
Yep.
Yeah. Askell Henny.
He looks like Kevin McKidd from Rome.
I mean, it is a really. I got to say, it is a really good film. Yeah, I'd probably put this actually in my top 3 of the year. I completely forgot about it.
Mhm.
There's also there's another
Hello,
film
ladies.
that's that's very similar in tone called Something Gold. It's on Amazon. Blood and Gold, is it?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and
yeah, I think I've heard of that.
it's got a very similar plot, very similar Tarantino-esque kind of tone. A load of Nazis in some village somewhere doing brutal things, and some resistance guy saying "fuck no," and he kind of starts taking them all out. It's good fun. It's not as good fun as this, but it's definitely fun. Yeah, Sisu is a must watch for anyone.
Is it on Netflix?
Not yet. No.
Hang on, no, it is on one of the channels because
I think it's streaming somewhere. I think
Yeah,
it might be on Amazon.
I think it's either on Amazon or Netflix, but I think it's Amazon.
It sounds something that starts with an S.
Oh, it's also
What
on
the hell's
Stars.
this?
Stars.
Stars. There you go. I was like, what is this? I'm Icon. I didn't even know this.
Stars and Hulu have it, and Amazon.
Well, guys, you gotta watch it. Question for Gord King: when are we getting Superbad 2? He's contractually can't talk about that. Sorry.
I told him when the script is super good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got to be as good as the third one, which Jennifer Lawrence has already made with her time machine. So,
yeah, can we talk about my favorite? One of my other favorite movies was Napoleon, not the one with Joaquin Phoenix, but your Napoleon, Lance.
Oh,
was
yeah.
so good, dude. I rewatched that stream, dude, and Gary, bro, he's so funny when he's talking about Kenny's character. The general, he's like, look, the guy came into my office and he said flat out, listen, I don't know shit about Napoleonic Wars. I don't know shit about the time period. I don't know shit about anything, but you know what? I'm the man for the job. And there was something about the way he said that's like, you know what? I think he's right. Like his character was amazing, dude. I thought that was so fun. I was so glad I was in the back room running the slides because I was laughing my ass off, man. When we brought up Jennifer Lawrence and he's like, yeah, I was in my office and a time portal opens up on my wall and Jennifer Lawrence comes in and I was like, hey, lady, I just got that wall replastered. Dude, he's on fire, man.
Yeah, that was.
You've just got his draw right down. You got his draw, mate. You have.
Yeah. Oh, thank
Well,
you. He jokes about how she came back in time to audition for the movie, and ultimately we decided she wasn't right for it. And it's just like the idea that she came all the way back in time, and you're like, you know what? It's not good. It was like, you're right. You're right. I'm gonna go back where I came
We
from.
appreciate.
Oh, Darko was here.
But
Yeah,
So,
I kind of sneaked.
Where'd you fucking come from?
One who isn't quite.
I'm just
sure.
really good at that kind of
Yeah,
shit. People
flies
don't
in,
see
you
me
know.
show up.
Dark has just snuck in. So look, anyone who isn't sure what we're talking about, we did a parody stream of Martin Weir's 1996 Napoleon. That's the version of Napoleon that appears in the movie Get Shorty. And we talked about the whole film from start to finish with 2 of the crew, one of the producers, and the historical advisor. It's on the channel. You can check it out. And I tell you now, I was quite ill, so I had to stay off.
Yeah,
camera.
this is like the beginning of your deadly disease that you had for a while.
I had a temperature even when we were doing the stream, but I was determined not to cancel it. One of the things that was amazing was me and Uninspired. We managed to play the whole interview completely straight without laughing once. So we've all decided we're going to do another one. And the next one we're doing is the Pixar animated version of Showgirls.
Right.
I love
I'm gonna have a hard time
So
getting all those skills for this movie.
Christ.
Gary's going to be returning. Gary's going to be returning as the producer of that movie. Is going to be the same producer. I think we're going to have one of the animators come on. So we're going to have a couple of more actors playing some fictional roles.
I love it. I love it.
I'm hoping to get a pole dancer friend of mine on as well, just to
Ooh.
those ratings.
I love Elizabeth Berkley in that movie.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Thanks for mentioning it. Okay, well, look, Dark Hour, you've just arrived, buddy. Tell us one of your favorite films of 2023. If we've covered it already, I'll tell you.
Well, you probably covered my favorite film, which was Godzilla -1. I'm guessing you guys called it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
We did mention it. Have you got another one?
I'll go a little bit different. A film that I liked that a lot of people didn't like was I actually enjoyed Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1.
That was on my list. I mean, I liked it. I thought it could have been better, but it was.
I agree. It could have been better.
Yeah, I was expecting it to end on a big cliffhanger, which it didn't.
I was kind of prisoner of the moment too, because there was a lot of shit that came out around that time. So I ended up kind of being a bit of a prisoner of the moment. And like in my review, you could even tell I praised it probably a little too much. I probably should have been a little bit harsher. But I think,
like you.
Yeah, it came out like at a time where pretty much every movie that was coming out was just terrible. So like it felt like an oasis in a desert.
Definitely.
And it was but yeah, that one was up there. Let me pull up my channel real quick and see what I like reviewed throughout the year. Like,
I wish that Vanessa Kirby's line from Napoleon had been said in this movie instead.
What was honestly, guys, was Napoleon really that bad?
We're not on that bit yet. We're not on that bit yet. We're still covering films tonight.
It wasn't bad. It was meh, which in my opinion
we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're not doing that yet.
I can tell you, Mission Impossible, the whole build-up scene, the infamous jump in IMAX, that made the movie for me. That freaking jump, man.
And I also enjoyed, and I know that there was a lot of people who felt it was a bit too over the top and stuff, but I enjoyed John Wick Chapter 4.
Yes. I loved that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, but man, I mean, as soon as I came out the cinema, I was like, I forgot about the film. Really, I'm not sure that's what it should be. Like that whole fight up the stairs, and then
that was probably the part I was like most like about was the fight.
They get to the top of the stairs, they fall all the way back down again, and he's gonna have to fight his way up again. And I'm like, dude, I've just seen 20 minutes of this. Can we?
Yeah, they probably could. They probably
move along.
They probably could have trimmed that significantly, unfortunately, which was the case with most movies this year. But yeah, those are probably the two like more underrated films, in my opinion. The ones that kind of like some people in our like sphere might have been not as nice to.
Right.
Like I was like, okay, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I was like, I didn't love it because it's like, okay, it's probably the worst one since Mission Impossible 2, but I'm like, it's no dumber than a Fast and Furious movie. It's still good entertainment. It's just, it's a drop off from the last one, and that sucks. But
and I mean, this one had my girl Haley Atwell in it, so that really.
Oh man, I was fine watching it just to watch her. Oh my gosh.
I feel sorry for her a little bit though, because she's finally getting away from her MCU contract, and she's kind of already past the point where she could be like a leading lady, like age wise. Unfortunately, I mean, she doesn't look old or anything, but like
that's how they'll treat her.
That's how they'll treat her. She still looks relatively
spit you out.
Yeah,
she has not changed since Captain America. She has not changed.
No, if anything, she looks, because she lost some weight, she looks a little younger, but they're still going to treat her as if she's like ancient because she's over the like close to 40. So it's
and as bad as this movie did at the box office, they could very easily hold it against her.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Haley Atwell because of her lower back issues she's going to get eventually.
I have no problems with her lower back issues. That is
well, I would be more than happy to offer proper support.
That is the debt to society she must pay.
Sorry,
well, you never know. You might get cast in a movie opposite her, Gord, where you get to do that in a scene. Let's. I want to do an experiment quickly. Do we know if Danny DeVito's got an official Twitter account?
I don't think
I can look
I
it
don't
up
think
for
I've
you real
checked.
quick.
Can we have a quick butchers?
And if he
let's see
doesn't,
there is
if he doesn't, did he Danny
It looks
DeLito
like
it?
he does.
Danny DeLito. No,
It
does
looks
he?
like he does. Yeah.
Enzo,
I mean-
Enzo, could you put the link for that in the chat
Oh.
for a second? And can you, Enzo, could you grab the link for the Napoleon stream?
Yeah.
Guys,
So you want me to grab?
that guy
you want
does
me to
look like
grab the
Danny
link?
DeVito.
Guys,
Grab the-
I want to do an experiment here while we've got 7 people on, and also some of our friends are in the chat. Can we all write a quick comment on our Twitter account? Sorry, X account.
To
And-
Danny DeVito about how I can't believe I loved him in
Just saying, really enjoyed your performance and love this film. Love this film being discussed. Let's see if we can
You
get
guys
a
are
comment back
you
from
guys
him.
are cruel.
No,
No,
watch,
we're really complimentary about him in the stream. So
watch Danny
I've
DeVito like get the video taken down or something. Like you didn't have the right to
Nah,
use my
listen,
likeness
man,
in these pictures.
No, Danny
guarantee
DeVito's a
you
dirty
he'll
guy.
like
He ain't
it.
doing that
I'm
shit.
kidding.
I guarantee you he'll like it. He's got a sense of humor, man. Oh, we've lost.
It seems like he does. He does some crazy
what,
shit.
So let me.
Well,
What are
Okay,
we doing
so
here?
Leroy clearly didn't want in on that. He's out of here.
Oh no, he got DeLito'd.
he got DeLito'd, DeVito.
All right, there's Danny DeVito's Twitter, and then there's the link to the stream in the private.
Okay,
chat.
so each one of us are posting the same video.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
hang on. So where's the
Or no,
and-
Lance, you can make one post and we can just retweet it. Doesn't that work the same way?
Yeah,
guess-
it's the same thing. Yeah, you make the
we
post
can,
and
we can,
and
but
we'll
if
just
we-
start. We'll start saying things like commenting on yours and retweeting it, and that should
All right.
push that algorithm a
Dude,
little
we
bit.
could just go back to the original post you made and just tag Danny DeVito in it and just be like, dude, this is amazing.
Somebody did do that already, but
Oh, okay.
I
Let's just
think
start a new one.
There's 7 of us doing it. Leroy's back. He's clearly in on.
Yeah.
on the
Sorry
game.
about that.
I went ahead and
Hit the wrong-
made
hit the wrong
my
button.
own separate tweet. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
went
you
ahead
did
and
your
just
own?
did it. I went ahead and just did it.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
you
just
should-
let's
don't
all
forget
use
to tag
Gord.
Michael Cera in that as well.
Yeah.
So hang on, I'm gonna type it out right now, real quick. Really enjoyed the in-depth.
You guys are mean, man. You gonna play a
No,
prank?
it's
with
not-
Danny DeVito?
no, this
It's
is
not
how you
even,
get Danny
this
DeVito
is-
on your stream, man.
Yeah.
This is how
Oh,
Danny
yeah.
DeVito says, "Hey, thank you for all the fun,
You know,
If you
since,
watch,
since we're talking about, go ahead, Lance.
if you watch the video, Leroy,
Yeah.
you'll see we're not poking fun at him.
Right.
We're laughing with him. You'll get it.
Martin.
It is.
You know,
There's a
since we're
joke-
talking about Danny DeVito, I'd say my favorite movie, which I thought was his best, was Hoffa with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he's amazing in that.
Yes,
I liked
thought that was his
him in
best.
I liked him in L.A. Confidential a lot.
Don't
never saw
forget,
that movie.
guys.
Yeah.
Don't forget to refer
watched
to him
it
in the
yesterday.
film as Martin Weir.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Danny DeVito. This discussion of the Martin Weir classic film Napoleon was so informative and educational.
yeah.
Highly recommend.
I mean, I'm going to put this film kicked Ridley's ass.
Have you not seen Get Shorty, Leroy?
Nope.
Really?
I never saw it.
Really
Never-
good.
Oh, mate,
Check
you
it
gotta-
out,
you gotta
man.
see that.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's great. The book is
Yeah.
great as well.
Right.
Like,
so,
I'm a John Travolta fan. It's just that there's certain movies,
Yeah.
I have certain tastes for certain movies, and the reason why I liked Hoffa because, like I know, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a history buff, so I thought that was Danny DeVito's best as far as acting and acting goes, and I don't know why people were hating John Travolta and Gotti. I thought that was a great movie.
I think
No, yeah, he seems to be having a little bit of trouble with his career recently. John, he seems. John
Well,
Travolta
since his
seems to be
wife
down a
and
lot of
son
props,
died,
hasn't
he hasn't been much the same.
I
You
think the
remember
guy-
he just
I
lost
think,
his wife.
well,
and
those-
son.
guys,
Right.
I think this was
before.
before, though. I think this was before
That
she
man's-
passed away. But
something.
yeah, that is still sad, though. that she-
Yeah.
I think people didn't like Gotti because it brushed over too much
Mhm.
of the history, and it would have been better off if it was like a 6-part miniseries.
Miniseries.
Yeah, rather than a film. Hey, Vex.
Plus, they did that. I think they
Man.
did that made-for-TV movie with
Hello.
Armando Sante.
Armando
that
Sante.
Yeah.
I know it's
I actually
very
watched
highly
Yeah,
that.
that-
regarded.
That
That's
actually
good.
was a better
Yeah.
film, I thought.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I think
HBO
that's
made some great originals, man.
They
Okay,
did.
guys, I've done that tweet. So if you
Okay, let's
want to
go.
either
So did I.
retweet it or whatever, let me dash to the bathroom real quick while you're doing that.
Okay,
You know
let's
what's another Danny DeVito? My favorite Danny DeVito movie because he also directed it. Matilda. He's so awesome in that
Matilda's
one.
a
I
good
love
movie.
Matilda. I love
I
it.
love it.
Miss Trunchbull
So
still
fun.
scares the shit out of me,
That
even as a grown up.
chocolate cake that she makes Bruce
Yeah.
Bogtrotter eat looks delicious. I am like, that's exactly the kind of cake I like. Chocolate on chocolate with chocolate and extra chocolate.
I,
like, this
I never
is
saw
awesome.
Matilda, but I will say my favorite
That's a fun one.
comedy starring Danny DeVito was Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Twins is
classic.
good. I like
Twin
Throw
Brothers,
Mama.
yeah.
Throw Mama
Throw
from
Mama
the
off the
Train is
train.
really
Oh
good
my God.
too.
Yeah.
Yes. All the ones he's directed. He's not in Duplex, but that one's also very funny and weird. But Throw Mama from the Train, dude, my mother loves that one. Owen! You clumsy oaf. What did she say to him? The lady from the Goonies.
Yeah.
I
about
will say
that?
Danny DeVito has come a long way from Taxi.
He's
Yeah.
great in Man in the
I know.
Moon, where you know,
Yes,
they,
that was a good
the
movie.
Cuckoo's
That
Nest.
was a good movie.
they get all meta by making it set in Taxi. And there's
Okay, so
Christopher
this is
Lloyd
what
and
I
stuff.
just said. I just responded to Lance's thing. I just said this movie changed my life. It made me realize I should rise to power and attempt to seize Russia during the winter.
Great, man.
Tetris might have taught me that today also.
I haven't
Oh.
seen Tetris yet. I've heard it was actually.
Oh,
pretty
dude, I
decent.
just watched it today. It's one of the best movies of the year. Watch it.
That
It's
is
amazing.
insanity. That's
It's
insanity.
amazing. I was like, this. It takes you on such a great roller coaster. It's inspiring. It's fun. It has good drama. Its style is fantastic. The acting, the script, top to bottom, phenomenal movie. I would put it in my top 3 this year.
Well, one thing I'm going to mention that's interesting that no one has said this film, and I'm not surprised. None of you rushed to mention Oppenheimer, and as good as
That's
that,
what I was
seen it
wondering.
yet.
That's
I
what I was
just-
wondering. Where's
I figured
Oppenheimer?
you guys talked
Well, I
about
was going to bring it
Oppenheimer.
up. I was going to
As
bring it
good
up
as-
because Leroy was saying as a history buff. I was going to ask.
yeah,
what he
but as
thought of
good
it,
as
or thought.
that film is, as good as that film is from a technical point of view, I found it completely emotionally, totally unengaging. I just couldn't get into the narrative of the characters because he does that thing where he kept jumping around with the fucking timeline. Leave it alone,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. You know, just tell a story.
I would say
So
the first hour I had that issue, but once they start putting together the bomb itself, I became more engaged. And I
Yeah.
just bought the movie, so I'm going to be rewatching it here really soon.
I did watch it a second time with the family, and it held up a second viewing.
I've been meaning to see it, but I just haven't. Like, and Gore King's right. I am a history buff. I mean to see it, but I didn't even heard of Oppenheimer until it came out. Like the guy Oppenheimer. I thought I was taught in high school that Albert Einstein invented the atomic bomb.
I have this. I have a piece of advice for you. Go back to your high school and threaten to sue them for giving you false information.
Hey, there are a lot. I'm gonna be 45 this Friday. There are a lot of things.
Happy birthday ahead of time, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
What
want
day?
to quote Friday, the 29th.
Okay.
I
Nice.
want to quote something. I'm glad you mentioned that Dark Hour. I want to quote something that Angus McFadden said in the beginning of Braveheart. History was written by those who've hanged heroes. So everything they teach you in high school and college, take it with a grain of salt.
Well, yeah, history.
Now, the
always has
Nazis
a
were really
skew.
fantastic. Is that what you're telling us?
Oh,
I did
Kiss my
not
ass,
see that
Lamp.
coming. No, but no, you're 100% correct. Yeah, history is
Yeah.
skewed to the winner.
Yeah, it is.
all
It is.
the time. I mean,
But
from
Yeah.
as you get further and further removed from that era, it will start to move closer toward the actual history because people will begin to peel back layers that they maybe didn't realize. But it takes a lot longer than 60, 70 years. You know,
yeah.
that usually takes like 1,000 years for people to do a lot of research.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I'll give you a good
hold
example.
on, guys. Hold on, guys.
Go ahead, Lance.
We're gonna shift gears. Sorry, I'm gonna have to manage you because there's quite a lot of people on here. All right, so
Hey, it's your show, Lance.
right, so we're gonna choose the biggest disappointment of 2023. Now, I've narrowed it down to these 3 contenders, but
I didn't make this list, did I?
I will hear an argument for a film that you think should also be on this list before we vote. So the 3 I think are Napoleon, Rebel Moon, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dogshit. So
Wow. Tell us how you really feel, man.
oh, sorry, that's a typo, but yeah, okay. So
I called it the diarrhea of dysentery in my review. And that's what got my channel monetized.
Now, before we get into these three, and you may well like these films, and listen, if you love them, I've got no problem with that. It's all good. But before we get into these three, was there any other movie that for anyone on the panel?
Let me look at the
and I'll ask you one at a time.
I got one.
It's a massive disappointment. Of course you have, Leroy. You can go first. Go on.
The Meg 2.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I'm prepared to add that. Even as a fun monster film, it just wasn't. Stupenzo, anything to add?
Well, it's like I would say like disappointment. Disappointment means you're like expecting something good, but I guess like The Flash, I wasn't really expecting anything good, but yeah, it kind of let me down. Like it let down everybody. It's just not quite there. And the budget, like that's the thing. Like,
I got one.
Yeah. Okay, Darker, give me it.
I was pretty disappointed in, and this one might be controversial. I was pretty disappointed in Super Mario Brothers. Actually.
That's the one I was gonna say.
Yeah, because so I'm glad we're on the same page. I felt that that was one of my. Actually, it was funny. That was my shortest review ever. I think I did it in about 2.5 minutes because there really wasn't much of a story to that movie.
Yeah,
and they wasted a lot of great stuff that could have been used for like expansion of this clearly Nintendo connected universe they want to go with, and I just felt like they tried to throw everything in the first movie, which is a lot of movies do that, and Rebel Moon had the same problems. It's like where they
unlike Rebel Moon, like I'll be honest, I have a hard time considering Rebel Moon a disappointment when I expected it to be awful. You know, Super Mario, granted, I didn't expect it to be great, but with all the people, you know, in various circles, some which are our own or adjacent to our own, you know, saying it's so much fun and blah, blah, blah. I watched it and I was just like, it's kind of, I don't think it's a bad movie, but I was like, this is a very mediocre animated movie that could have been awesome. You know, it's like you can see the elements in there where it's like, this could have been really good.
I mean, let me put it
just
this
very
way.
meh.
I think the title of my video sums it up best, and it was a masterclass in wasted potential.
Yeah.
That's also Indiana Jones for me, but
I had zero expectations of Indiana Jones.
I had zero. Having seen the trailer,
Mario was disappointing when it's like, we're gonna teach you how to fight Bowser, and it's like a literal Mario level pops up, and it's like, this is how we fight him. You got to jump on these platforms just like in the game, and it's like, oh god, come on.
I would probably make people of that movie mad when I would say that I actually think The Wizard is a better Mario movie.
Oh my god, that's
a great film.
I mean, The Wizard is a giant commercial, but I liked it as a kid.
It's a commercial for Universal Studios.
Hey, Lance, I've not seen Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny yet, but I will say I'm not surprised that you guys feel that it was disappointing because I like the first 3 Indiana Jones movies. I thought they should have ended with The Last Crusade.
Yeah,
the last one, it was funny. The last one with Shia LaBeouf, it was funny, but it didn't have the same feel as the first 3. It was too comedic, and I thought they should have stopped with The Last Crusade.
And this one lacked any kind of like feeling at all. It was just a cash grab, and you could feel it from start to finish.
Harrison Ford is way too. I'm sorry, Harrison Ford is just way too damn old to be doing stunts.
Well, and the funny thing about Dial of Destiny compared to Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls, look, Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls is not a good movie, but it's at least still trying to be an Indiana Jones movie. It's just not doing it very well. It's kind of like watching like the Star Wars prequel trilogy, to where it's like there's some good stuff in there, but it's just not very well executed.
Well, I like Revenge of the Sith.
I do too. I like the prequels. I'm just saying objectively they're not great movies. Right. But
I should probably
Dial of Destiny is depressing to watch, like from start to finish. It's a bad movie,
we're talking about
and it's incredibly depressing to watch. And like I'm fine putting that in the category of being a disappointment, because the one thing that gave me a smidgen of hope about it was James Mangold was directing, and he's done the Old Man movie really well before. So I was like, maybe he could do something with this, but Disney will probably ruin it. And sure enough, they did. They ruined it.
Yeah, it wasn't good. There's very little to redeem that film, and I've watched it twice now, and the second time was more painful.
Now about Napoleon, fellas. Like I've been dying to see this movie. Like I'm a history buff. How bad was it? Like was it puke in the toilet bad or?
Well, it was. I mean, it was a film that happened. You know, I mean, I am partly reserving my final judgment until I've seen this longer cut, because the difference between Kingdom of Heaven, the original cut, and Kingdom of Heaven, the director's cut, is a huge difference. I.e., one film is shit, and the other one's not.
No, I thought Kingdom of Heaven. Both roles were good movies. Kingdom of Heaven. I loved Kingdom of Heaven.
Well, I like the director's cut. The original cut was missing so much that a lot of it didn't make any sense. But Blue Collar, what did you think of Napoleon?
Oh yeah, like you said, you know, I'm curious to see the 4-hour cut now, because it makes you wonder how much was left out. But yeah, it was.
I think it's 4.5 hours actually.
Jesus.
God damn, 4 hours.
What's the
4.5?
problem? Yeah, that's the biggest problem. Is like when Napoleon's being Napoleon, that part's interesting, but then the problem is you get one battle sequence, then 55 minutes of him and Josephine, and then one battle sequence, and then another 45 minutes of Josephine. You're like, okay, I want to see Napoleon conquering. When he's being Napoleon, that's awesome for the whole 5 minutes, and then that's it.
Yeah, I think the other thing is there's no real sense of strategic stakes for any of the battles. There's not enough discussion of him with his military leaders.
Generals.
His other generals. There's there's pretty much no scenes with them at all. I think Gord's talking about is this the Michael Cera Napoleon version? That could be a good movie. So he's got the right height to play that character.
Real Napoleon was like 5'4", and you know, like I said, I hope you guys are wrong about it, because I'm not a big I can't even pronounce his name right. Phoenix fan,
Joaquin.
Joaquin Phoenix. But because I loved him in Gladiator and in the Johnny Cash movie,
Walk the Line.
Walk the Line. I won't say Walk Hard, which is
a good one.
I mean, and that's what got me into listening to Johnny Cash music. Walk the Line.
And Walk the Line was directed by James Mangold, by the way.
Right? Yeah.
So I hope you guys are wrong about Napoleon. I was going to see Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, but now, thank you. I don't think I'm going to see it.
In my opinion, the best Napoleon movie is
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's the best Napoleon movie.
Well, I think the Waterloo movie is very good.
I can tell you, if you have any semblance of wanting to still care about Indiana Jones, do not watch Dial of Destiny.
No.
The only thing somebody posted the other day, like I forget who it was like, say something nice about this movie, and I was like, my tearing it apart in my review got me monetized. That was the only thing that it did for me.
God.
So guys, if you have to pick one, what one would you pick as the biggest, the biggest letdown of the year? It's tough.
For me, it was Meg 2, because the fact that they killed off the Chinese woman from the first movie, who eventually married Jason Statham. Yeah. The fact they killed her off screen, I'm like, what the hell?
I have to say, I'm amazed you remembered any plot points from the first film.
Well, the first one was pretty good, but then they killed her off. I'm like, why they kill her off? And then
big shark go chomp chomp.
I wanted to see in the Meg. I wanted to see a sequence where this huge shark with a huge mouth swallows 40 people and eats them at the same time. That's not in the film. So I felt proper cheated. I'm sorry.
That's what's worse.
The Meg. I had no expectations for the Meg once I saw it was PG-13.
Well, Leroy, you've not seen Indy nor Napoleon, so you've still got massive disappointment to come. George, what's the number one for you? Letdown.
I mean, I think if I'm taking if it's my own feelings on the matter, it's probably Mario, but I've already talked about that. So if I'm going from the perspective of like worldwide, I think it absolutely is Indiana Jones, because even though a lot of us probably had no expectations for it, I think the audience in general probably at least had some, and it's a disaster of a movie that most everybody agrees is terrible. And of course, it was a box office flop. It lost Lord only knows how much money. Wow. I mean, it is a massive disappointment.
I'm not
I mean,
sure
granted,
I'm not sure which movie lost more money, that or the Marvels at this point. Because
yeah, I know it's a good question.
Well,
It's a good
we're
question.
not even putting the Marvels on the list because we all know
yeah.
that shit.
that was anything but a disappointment. That was everything I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
Gorky, it's funny how you talk about how Indiana Jones doesn't lost a lot of money because Harrison Ford is an excellent actor. To be honest with you, I'm surprised he's never been nominated for it.
Well,
I think he's been nominated. Did he get nominated for Witness?
yes, he did. He did.
Okay,
get
so I think that
nominated
was the only. Well, he was nominated for The Fugitive also. I think
That was a good movie. I thought that was the best movie, The Fugitive.
I love The Fugitive. That's one of my top 5 favorite movies.
Especially when he's beating the shit out of his best friend.
No, that is a good film, and the best friend.
Wait, is The Fugitive? That's the one that has the scene where it's like, I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
No joke. I've probably seen that movie like 200 times.
Guy plays the best friend, plays an awesome villain in a little scene film with Richard Gere called No Mercy. Richard Gere and Kim Basinger.
I remember that movie.
It's a good little film. That it's a good little action film.
I had to close my eyes because I remember one scene from that movie is where he cut the black man's throat after putting a pillow on his face, then cut his throat. I'm like, oh, I hate throat cutting. I hate throat cutting.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. I can't watch that
gritty
knife.
Yeah, throat cutting's weird. I'll say it's like The Fugitive.
It's the gaggling. It's the gaggling I hate.
So, Enzo, what's your biggest gripe? Which one?
Well, I mean, other disappointing films that like I had high hopes for were like Fool's Paradise, the Charlie Day movie, and then there was also, like I said, The Flash, and The Last Voyage of the Demeter was also pretty disappointing. Luckily, we'll get a Nosferatu movie. Yeah, exactly. Little Mermaid was a huge disappointment. That would probably be Meg's biggest disappointment of the year. Her being a redheaded girl. And I don't know. I don't know. The Little Mermaid movie was bad, but again, just like all these other movies, it's like, I guess like the biggest disappointment for me was the Charlie Day's Fool's Paradise. I was really stoked about this trailer, and I saw the movie, and it was just pretentious and meh.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with that. Bastard, what was your biggest gripe this year?
Definitely Indiana Jones 5. It was a total disrespect to the character. The people making it had no respect for him or the fans that loved those films, and it was obviously a bait and switch just to get Phoebe Waller-Bridgeface Bridgeface Heron spin-off.
Phoebe Waller overpass.
Yeah, which isn't happening. Just going to read out these super chats quickly. Merry Christmas from Miss Martin Muses. Thank you for the $4.99.
Hey, Teresa.
I did read it earlier, but I'm going to read it again.
So sweet.
And Desert Phoenix has made a very logical suggestion. Let's call Twitter /X Twix from now on.
I love that chocolate bar.
That sounds nice.
I don't understand why they didn't just make it Twitter X. That would have been an easy workaround. People they could have just called it Twitter X, and it would have been it would have given the whole SpaceX feel and all that, and it would have just and people could still call it Twitter, and it wouldn't be weird. Yeah,
it's not too late. X Twitter, there you go.
All right, guys, we're going to change topics now.
Wait, before we change topics, one small thing I want to say about a one that was a disappointment, but it was kind of an expected disappointment. Was Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I was always a big fan of the Beast Wars cartoon. I had hoped that maybe they would get some of that feel, and they didn't. It sucked. We don't have to talk about that one in depth. I just wanted to throw that one out there.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you. We're now going to move on to favorite TV shows of 2023. So I'd like to hear one choice from each of my panelists. That's one choice, Leroy. One.
Okay.
So Blue Collar, you got one you want to talk about?
Easy Reacher. Simple as that. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's not even done yet.
No,
Which one?
But it counts as 2023. So.
Reacher.
You say Reacher?
Yep.
Oh, as in Jack Reacher.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's interesting because actually, so far with this season, I'm pretty disappointed.
I've
that people can just drive a car into a secure building, which is very kind of security sensitive and all this.
Yeah.
Go in and steal a load of computer data and just wander out again, and that no alarms go off even though they drove through the building. There's no actual security staff. And I'm just like, is this kind of some sort of parody? Because the first season felt very grounded. It was quite gritty. This
Yeah.
second season feels a bit like kind of like the A-Team. It's not over yet, so I'm reserving my judgment. But so far,
is better.
Yeah, that's something Lord Talks definitely
I
said.
saw episode 4.
you
I've
know,
seen episode 4 now.
some of the stuff they do is kind of like suspend disbelief. But I'm also like, well, Dark knows this, that. When it comes to like Brooklyn and Jersey, the stuff that goes on down there isn't like a normal, like place to live at. So like life's different down there. So I can forgive it.
I can attest to that. All the things that happen in Jersey, that's just a normal Friday.
I mean, the stuff that Reacher does down, stuff that Reacher does down in Brooklyn, that's like, I mean, we were recently down in New York City. It's a different species of human down there. So
What does it mean when someone's called a bridge and tunnel person? What does that mean? They're bridge and tunnel people.
So bridge and tunnel means you drive to the city.
Okay.
And you're from New Jersey.
So are you guys bridge and tunnel people then?
Well, yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm not.
I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, well, that's Reacher from Blue Collar Loser. I'm going to add a couple of my own into the mix. Bastard, have you got one for us?
Yeah, it's going to be the same as Blue because there haven't been many TV shows this year that I've watched. I can't because I watch old ones. So this year it's Reacher. It's the only candidate.
Have you not seen anything else on TV, even whether it's a documentary on Netflix or?
Actually, no, wait. Now you mentioned it. Estonia was a good one. Estonia
is good.
That was really good. That was really well done, and it's about the tragic sinking of the Estonia cruise ship, and it's about the reporters trying to investigate what's happened, and all they're getting is finger pointing. It was this that caused the problem. It was that. It wasn't us. It was the other guys, and it's very heartbreaking to watch seeing all these victims just get totally disrespected in every way by bureaucrats.
Yeah, I mean, I turned Northern Bastard onto that. We talked about it on the Nielsen ratings before. It's 8 episodes. It's only available on sort of various kind of Norwegian, Scandinavian channels. So obviously, if you've got the name Nielsen, you automatically get access to those. But it is well worth your time. It's well worth tracking down. I have actually met the guy since we last talked about it, who built the studio that the ship was filmed in sinking. And I've had a chat with him, and he's going to come on and do an interview about how all of that was filmed. And he's reaching out to the creator of the show. We're going to try and get him on as well. So we might get them both. You never know. But definitely going to get the guy who built the water tank. It's brand new kind of studio in Brussels where they filmed it. It's an absolute heartbreaking series, and it's the biggest maritime peacetime disaster since the sinking of the Titanic. So over 800 people lost their lives on that ship. Very tragic. And as you said, it's all the stuff that went on afterwards that's very, very compelling.
It's one of the few shows that nearly had me crying because it was just so devastating. It really was.
Yeah. I'm going to mention The Long Shadow, which is a British TV series about the Yorkshire Ripper murders and the various kind of bungled police investigations. That's available on ITV.
When those Yorkshire Ripper murders happen?
They happened in the late 70s going into 1980.
Oh.
And I think he was captured around 80, 81. It was going on when I was a kid. And I mean, even though it was happening in Yorkshire, everybody in London was fucking terrified. Like, people wouldn't go out after a certain time, and, no one let their daughters go clubbing or anything like that. It was the fear in the country was unbelievable. But it's a really good show. Great performances. Toby Jones is in it. Again, if you like your history, it's a good show. So Leroy, it's another one for you. I've reviewed it on the channel at length, along with the original 2-part drama that they made with Alan Armstrong called This Is Personal, which is
Alan Armstrong.
Yeah,
I liked him in Frontier.
Well, that's available on that's available on YouTube to watch for free, and that's more about the hoax tape that was produced that everybody thought was the Ripper but wasn't. And that guy who created that tape was caught recently and actually went to prison. So yeah, there you go. So Long Shadow is worth doing. Enzo, you got a TV pick for us?
Easy. Scavenger's Reign. I loved it. It was awesome. It was super
tell us
trippy and
more.
weird.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
Sci-fi animated show that was kind of a cross between Fantastic Planet and Miyazaki movies with a touch of like The Martian, Star Trek Voyager kind of. But yeah, just I don't know. Maybe I liked it because I smoke a lot of pot, but it was just super trippy, bro. It was cool.
No shame in it.
I tried to recommend it to some people, and so I had.
I'll get down to it. Don't worry.
Vex loves it. I know that.
I fucking yeah. Me and Vex. I feel like me and Vex are kind of the only two that are like, this movie's awesome, and everyone else is like, yeah, we watched it. Anyway, Blue-Eyed Samurai, that was amazing. Let's talk about that some more. And I was like, Scavenger's Reign, bro. Like Scavenger's Reign, dude. It was like trippy robot and like the cool. There's like a powerful. What's it? You got a lead character who is a female woman of color, lesbian, and she rocks. She rocks. She's not bad. And all the characters are very interesting and weird, and just a lot of cool. It's an alien planet, so like you could kind of make up the rules as you go along. And I understand that's kind of a cop out, but these Miyazaki movies, Boy and the Heron. It's like metaphorical, means something deeper, and it's just like a very interesting animation style, thin lines and some kind of flat colors and just really intricate, cool drawings. Liked it. Can't recommend it enough. Honorable mention would be what was the other one? A Righteous Gemstones season 3. I mean, that show's so fire. But yeah, this show, Scavenger's Reign, I don't know. This is one of the shows that I started watching and just couldn't stop watching it. And it's a short watch. It's like 10, 30-minute episodes. So
these things look interesting. I mean, I definitely, if I was watching a show and I saw these things, I would check to see if I had been smoking pot for sure.
It gets worse.
I'd be checking if I wasn't accidentally spiked with acid.
You ever seen Scavenger's Reign, bro? You ever seen Scavenger's Reign on weed?
I really like the animation style.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I have to
my cousin's son is in anime.
Oh, I thought you were about to say your cousin's son was into pot, but
no, in anime. Oh, no. That too.
The premise is very simple. It's like there's like a giant space vessel that is like a huge basically a space floating town, whatever, migrating people. Gets lost and they crash land on a random weird desolate planet that's like filled with all kinds of strange life, and it's like they have to like find each other in bands and then find the main ship where like there's a bunch of people still in like cryostasis, and they got to figure out how to get home. It's crazy.
Enzo, I feel you should recreate this image, but it should be the faces of everyone on this stream.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This stuff reminds me of Paprika. You remember that Satoshi Kon anime? That stuff's just super trippy and weird, dude, and wild. Cool stuff, man.
I definitely will check that out. Thank you very much for the recommendation. Gord King, you got a TV show you want to shout out?
I have not watched a single show from 2023. I have been catching up on shows I haven't watched before.
Okay, so what's your favorite show that you watched this year but is older that you've only just seen?
It's a tight race between the one I'm going to pick and Cowboy Bebop. I had never seen that before. It's great.
God,
I have been watching
brilliant.
I've been watching Deadwood for the first time.
Oh,
and it's
you're getting some good old shows, yo. You really are.
Yeah, Deadwood is absolutely phenomenal. Although I won't lie, I took a break from it for a month after the episode where he has to pass the kidney stone. That was one of the most. That is one of the most emotionally draining things I have ever seen on screen. And as a guy, horrifying. I was like, man. I felt
you crossed your legs as well, didn't you?
Many times.
Your legs as well.
Many times.
Dude. I gotta tell you something. My father was a literal like cowboy, like a big. Imagine like a blonde Santa Claus with a cowboy hat and a safe full of guns, and he shot like black powder guns for like fun, recreationally. He hated Deadwood. He didn't like it, and we tried. It was like one of those shows when it came out. You're like, Dad, you gotta watch this. You're gonna love it. And he's like, I don't like the cursing. They didn't talk like that back then, you know. And it's just like,
Stupenzo,
okay,
my mom
Really?
would love your father.
huh?
My mom would have loved your father because she.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I'm not putting this whole live stream on YouTube or showing to my parents, because my parents are devout, hardcore Christians. They do not tolerate cussing in their house. So my mom enjoyed your father's company.
Here's
How
the
the
thing,
fuck
my
do they
dad.
do that?
Don't be mistaken. Don't be mistaken. My dad cursed and told just raunchy jokes, and he was a very funny man. And like I said, he had a safe full of guns, and he was just a cool guy. But he was like, he had a problem with the language in that show. And like, to be fair, like, we got all these favorite Westerns, but his favorites were like Paint Your Wagon and The Wild Bunch, which are like
Those are my dad's
Okay.
favorites.
That's
Yeah.
too extreme.
Oh, the
opposite.
picture wagon.
Yeah.
The funny thing is,
I
Leroy
like Paint
is.
Your Wagon.
I'm a
like
pretty
Paint Your
hardcore religious Christian, also, and I don't curse.
Yeah.
It's like anyone who's streamed with me knows it's like I don't swear, but that's like at the same time, it's
Yeah.
like okay, I know it's in media and stuff like that, and
We all
I
know
get
that.
I get the point of why the language is what it is in that show because it's actually written to be. If you actually pay attention to the way it's spoken, it's actually meant to be very Shakespearean. It's just it's brilliant. It's when you start realizing that that's what it's doing. It's very poetic and very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
But sit, Michael, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying I'm at my parents' house. You guys.
Oh no, I know what you mean.
I'm
Like I would never.
Door closed.
I would never show that show to my mother.
That's
Would
funny.
lose her mind if she.
Well,
Right.
Gordon
even
King
heard
just
5 minutes.
confirmed he's not Catholic because he said he's a devout Christian, so he's not Catholic.
I'm definitely not a
I'm
Catholic.
Italian, so I'm obviously Catholic. I
And
knew
you-
Gordo was
if-
like that because we did that Thanksgiving stream and I was like re-editing it. There was a part where I said like a pretty crude joke and Gord King, I didn't notice it when we were recording it, but he's like quietly like, that's not funny. And I was just like, oh, that was
No,
a bit
I didn't.
off-color.
I didn't mean that because it was
Oh.
crude or any. I was just.
So,
He legitimately
I meant
was
it for
just telling
another
you
reason.
You're not
so
as funny
George,
as you think.
just to recap, then your favorite show that you've seen this year is Cowboy Bebop. Is that correct?
No, it's
Oh,
Deadwood.
yeah.
I had
Deadwood,
Cowboy
Deadwood.
Bebop just beneath it, but Deadwood's my
Okay, cool.
favorite.
All right, thank you, Leroy. You got a favorite show of 2023, even if it's an older one you've only just seen.
All right, you said just one show, right?
Just one for now.
Okay, I have to say, the Bass Reeves story.
Oh yes, I'm
Completely-
enjoying that. I'm enjoying that.
It just completed its first season. Completely badass. I'm not just saying this because I'm a history buff. I'm saying it because as a black man, you don't hear too many, and I don't mean to bring race into this.
Wait, you're a
But
black
let-
man?
Oh my gosh!
Fuck you. Fuck you. But
Carry on, Leroy.
But as a black man, the story of Bass Reeves is very interesting. Like the first time I heard about him was when I was in the military, and then when I got out, I watched a show on the American History Channel that talked about him. Then I read a book about him, and I just did a review on one of the books that this show is based off of for Western Writers of America, and just watching the show, even though Hollywood has taken some liberties with the story of Bass Reeves, it was still completely badass from the first episode to the last.
Yeah.
And to bring his story to light is remarkably wonderful. I mean, credit to, I can't pronounce his last name, David Oyelowo.
Yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been trying to get this story to screen since 2014. And Taylor Sheridan, who does Yellowstone, was behind it. Also the performance by Donald Sutherland, Dennis Quaid, Forrest Goodluck, and also I can't remember who plays Bass Reeves' wife and daughter. Everybody, Barry Pepper, wonderful villain.
Yeah.
Everybody does a terrific job. Both the good guys and the bad guys do a terrific job. And for it to be a true story, what I love best about it, even though it's a true story, the good guy wins. The bad guy loses. And I think we get to show who the real Bass Reeves really was on TV, because, and this is just my opinion, he was not just the first black U.S. deputy marshal, but he's probably the greatest lawman in the history of America. If he was white, we would have statues of him all over the state of Oklahoma, or even the federal government in his honor.
I want to say they bring him. I want to say they bring him up in the show Justified, because obviously that's about U.S. Marshals, and because that's I've been trying to rack my brain and think of where have I heard his name before. I think it was on Justified, and it was literally them saying they should make something about him.
Yeah.
Allegiance Arts is also doing comic books about him right now, and I think you can find some of them at Walmart. But
legend has it he was the inspiration for the Lone Ranger.
Dude, I hope one day someone talks about me and they're like, legend has it, and then they say something about me. That would be, that's how I know I lived a good life. Legend has it, Enzo did this one time. It's like, hell yeah.
Well, that gets a big thumbs up from me. It's one of my favorite shows of this year. I also really like 1923, which came out at the beginning of the year, apart from one storyline in it that bores me to tears, but the rest of the show is really good.
Another thing about Lawman Bass Reeves is I watched that silly I liked it, that silly Eli Roth alligator movie called Crawl, about like a bunch of alligators attack people in a hurricane. But I realized when I watched that movie I missed Barry Pepper, and I'm glad that he's kind of doing stuff again, because like I was like, where's that guy been? You know, I know he did Battlefield Earth, and that was regretful, but you know, he's a good actor.
No one recovered from that movie quickly.
Barry was meant to conquer galaxies.
I liked him. I liked him in We Were Soldiers.
Right.
Yeah, he's good in that. Good in that.
So that's cool.
That's a film that we discussed at length on the channel with Alan Graff, who directed The Second Unit and de facto most of the action in that movie.
The donut shop guy from Boogie Nights Dark Hour.
Remember? I was pretty surprised to learn that We Were Soldiers was all shot in Northern California, and that they recreated La Drang Valley or whatever the name of it is on it. It was actually recreated on an American military base, and they flew in about 200 palm trees and various other kind of plant life, of that era. One of the things I always like about Taylor Sheridan's stuff is it has a stamp of production level that is way above anything else. So like when you look at the detail of the historical production design in his shows, it's absolutely phenomenal, and there's always depth in every shot. There's something on the table that everybody's clothing looks authentic and appropriately worn, and it's not brand new, and just all of that historical stuff is always first class. So when this show came out, I watched it straight away. The pilot I thought was really strong, and I think I've seen the first 4 or 5. I don't know how many episodes there are.
8.
8.
There are 8 episodes.
Yeah,
I've seen all 8 of them.
I know I'm on the 5th. I'm on the 5th one. So I might actually watch the rest of those tonight. But yeah, great show. I really like it. Definitely one of my faves of the year. Dark Hour, you got a show for us?
Yes. So I'm kind of in the same boat as Gord King a lot of the time. I don't watch a lot of newer shows, but one show that I have watched that I enjoy, some people will say it's not that great, but I find it fun, is Only Murders in the Building. I actually find it to be a fun little show, because I like Steve Martin, I like Martin Short. I think they're funny, and I enjoyed that show this year. I thought that they did it was an uptick from the the first season was good, second season was not quite as good, and then the third season was a slight uptick. So if I had to pick one that actually came out in 2023 that I enjoyed, that would be it.
I haven't seen season 3 of that. So worth watching.
I enjoyed it. I mean, some people, I'm not the biggest in terms of watching TV, like I said, so I'm more of a movie guy. But and I would have said Reacher had Blue Collar not said that. But I don't want to give you 2 of the same one. So that's my pick for number 2 of show that I watched this year.
Okay, fantastic.
I do need to head out though after this.
No, that's all right, man. If you need to go, please do. I am about to wrap up because we're coming up to the 2-hour mark.
Oh, okay. If you're wrapping up, I'll just hang out for the wrap up.
Is there any other show? I think everybody's got to choose one. Is there any other show that someone's just remembered that we haven't mentioned that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Oh,
that was good.
Man, now the stream's going to go on for another hour.
No,
I'm not talking about it. I refuse.
I'm not taking that bait. Can we talk about the holdovers instead?
I just watched all 8 episodes for a second time this week.
Damn.
I mean, for the second, and God rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. He did a great performance as a villain in this one.
He was good. He was the best thing in it. I would agree with that.
I don't know who they're going to replace him to play Balin Skull.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Star Wars fan. I didn't think anything could be better than The Mandalorian, but Ahsoka was really good. I liked it. And maybe it's because I have the hots for Rosario Dawson, but
I can't blame you. We can't blame you.
No, I absolutely concur with you on those points, and I have followed her career for a really long time.
I sat next to Rosario Dawson, not like directly, but like only a couple seats away from her at a wrestling show once, about like 2 years ago. I had got comped, so like I had a bunch of tickets. Somebody, like all my friends, basically bailed on me, so I traded them in to go up to the front row of like the bowl, and I was in a seat that you couldn't see from, like it was obstructed view seating. So I like went, I complained like nicely. So they comped me a floor seat, and I was sitting like 2 seats away from Rosario Dawson. It was really weird. I was like, what the hell is she doing here? And then like she got involved with the show. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Okay. Yeah. Were you wearing tight chinos and therefore had an uncomfortable penile experience?
No. I generally only wear cargo pants or cargo shorts, so I was able to tuck it into one of the pockets.
You know she's gonna be a grandma now.
I don't care.
Yeah, she's gonna be a hot grandma. That's what we call them, hot grandmas.
Guilt thing, my friend. Helen Mirren.
Didn't she just break up from her? Not that I've been following, but didn't she just break up from her long-term partner?
You mean she stopped being a beard? Yeah, she stopped doing that. Yeah,
I don't even know who you're referencing or who.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson
on the planet.
Yeah, but who is she engaged to or what? I don't even know.
She was dating Cory Booker for a while.
Yeah, Cory Booker was the one I was talking about. Yeah, he's my state senator, and
oh my god,
like there's a lot of people don't think that was a particularly legitimate relationship, and that it was just like it was. That
I
she
think
was
actors usually tend to gravitate to dating like other actors and Hollywood types, like.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna bog down the stream, but I'll tell you guys some stories about Cory Booker and his stupid shenanigans afterwards.
All right, well,
can we talk about the holdovers though? Because I want to say that was like one of the best Christmas movies ever made.
Well, if we're not going to wrap up,
dude, I already mentioned that movie in my choices at the beginning, so
it's great.
I
can't recommend it
enough. It is a good film. It is a good film.
It's nice meeting you, Dark Hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. I will catch you later. Nice to meet you, Leroy. All you guys.
Buddy.
See you, Dark Hour.
See you soon.
Take care, man.
Is there anything apart from Ahsoka? I think also I should have mentioned Succession, which had its last season this year. That was a very good.
I think it's important to point out that my list could change drastically in the next week or two, because there's like still the Iron Claw I gotta watch. I gotta watch.
I'll try and watch that as well.
I gotta watch Wonka, like Bukar said. There's a few that I haven't watched yet. So it's like,
well, we're talking TV shows here.
Yeah.
Has anybody been watching season 5 of Fargo?
No,
I have not.
Fargo is on now.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Fargo since season 2 and maybe an episode of season 3, so I'm still behind on it.
Well,
the last episode of Fargo I watched was the Chris Rock one.
Right, I definitely recommend it. I think it's really good. If you haven't seen it, it's a self-contained season. Juno Temple is very, very good in it. If you're a fan of hers, you'll definitely like it. No, really good. I enjoyed it. All right, okay. Well, look, we'll start to wrap things up there. So I'll go round with my guests. Some people in chat mentioned a couple of other things.
There's so much out there.
Mayor of Kingstown is a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
That's another one from the
Taylor
stable
Taylor
of
Sheridan, yeah.
Sheridan.
Like Tulsa King. Yeah.
It's a really, really good one. Yeah, Tulsa King was
Tulsa
good.
King. I love that one.
I wanted to mention For All Mankind. I really like that show.
That's on my to watch list because of you, man. It looks awesome.
Started off as kind of a woke show with a lot of agenda and all of that shit in season 1, but I've said it before. Stick with it because it just gets really good, and it's also very believable. Very believable, and it's got one of the best accident scenes in sort of NASA fictional history. It's well worth seeing. No love for Yellow Jackets. That would be correct, Lord Toxic. Good.
Yeah, I don't know this guy.
Let's move on. All right, so guys, we'll do the rounds quickly. Thank you so much for coming on. I had loads of guests, which is lovely. So the Nielsen ratings is every Tuesday. The next one of these, just so people can whack it in their diary, will be the first Tuesday of January, which will be January the 2nd. So
I'll be there.
So that's when the next Nielsen rating show is. Well, normally it's me and Enzo. I don't normally have quite so many people on, but as it was the end of year show, I thought we'd have everyone on that wants to come on.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
No worries. So that's when the next Nielsen thing is going to be. I've got a couple of interviews coming up. One on, I think I'm doing one during the day, Wednesday the 3rd, and then I've got Dennis McGuire, first AD, in the evening. I've also got the film festival director of Buff, the British Urban Film Festival, Emmanuel, coming on. He's going to be a really great guy to interview. He's got an MBE. So, and then I'm doing a retro review of Shogun on January the 6th.
I can't wait to see that show.
I can't wait to see the new one, but I'm doing a retro review of the old one with Richard Chamberlain. The whole thing is online to watch. You can find it.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was the very first mini-series ever that got all the other mini-series commissioned because of its success. That was the first.
What is that?
So that was a UFO landing outside your house.
Yay.
So Blue Collar, what you got coming up?
Tonight, well, actually a couple hours, because I always make sure I schedule after your stuff so we don't clash. But
that's very kind, man. Appreciate that.
Dark Hour is headed out, but he did Die Hard. Everyone does Die Hard for Christmas, so we decided to do Die Hard 2 because everyone
3 hours from now.
Yes.
Okay, just make sure.
I'm just going to say the best thing in Die Hard 2 is the firefight scene on the catwalk.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the best action scene in the movie, and it's in the first 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought the first 3 Die Hard movies were terrific. Die Hard
I love
1,
part
Die Hard 2, and Die Hard 3. They should have stopped Die Hard 3. They should never made Die Hard.
Yeah,
I think 3 is my favorite. I think 3 is my favorite out of all of them. It's so awesome, dude.
3 is great.
What else you got coming up? Die Hard 2 later. What else?
Yeah, but just more Reacher, and of course I got like 20 reviews I'm backed up on. Like Enzo said, just seen Iron Claw, seen Boy and the Heron, I seen Aquaman 2. Just so much stuff has been out. Like it's trying to keep up.
Fab stuff. Great. Northern English Bastard. What have you got coming up?
Well, I'm for the end of the week before the year ends, I'm gonna do one more last review. Night We Remember with Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck. Very great romantic Christmas movie.
I thought you were going to say A Night to Remember, which is the original Titanic. That's a great film. That's such a good film, that film.
Yeah, I just want one more Christmas movie to end the year on and then get back to normal. But I might do a few first impressions if I catch a few late of the more recent movies. Maybe The Iron Claw. I want to give that a go. I want to give Wonka a go as well. And we'll see.
Very good. Fantastic. Leroy, now's your chance to plug your book.
Well, for those who don't know, I am a successful author of Western novels. I just published my 10th novel back in November. I'm starting a new series called The Frontier, and I just submitted the first book this past Christmas Eve. So my books, you can find them on Amazon, but the quickest way you can find them is on fantasticfiction.com, which is a website that promotes all genres of books. and in the author section, just type in Leroy A. Peters, and it'll take you to my profile. And I've been trying to, of all the books I've written a standalone novel called Where the Wind Takes You. I've been trying, and Lance, I know you told me this, how turning books into movies is extremely difficult. Michael or Gorking, if you know anyone, perhaps.
What about TV show?
Huh?
How about trying to get it turned into a TV show? That way,
that too.
You might not be able to.
I've been trying to contact Taylor Sheridan, Mel Gibson, Kevin. I've been trying to find their email addresses.
I actually had a conversation with Taylor Sheridan on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, which was
yeah, get him on there for him.
Which was, I mean, it was nuts. He actually said to me, "I don't normally reply to personal messages, but I wanted to reply to yours." And I was like, "Oh, thanks very much." Super chat from Desert Phoenix. I would highly recommend A Night on Earth. Yeah, well, Leroy, whack the link into the private chat, and I'll put it in the chat before the stream ends. If you do that quickly.
Yeah, give me a second.
Give me 1 second. Spook. Gould King. Apart from various independent films that are coming out in the next 12 months, what else have you got?
Do not so.
Well, I'm currently working. I'm going to be actually recording the voiceover after this for my Rings of Power episode 2 video. Looking like it's going to be probably about as long as the first one, which was about, an hour and 15 minutes or so. So that's fun. Plus, tomorrow I am probably going to be streaming my first ever live first impressions of a movie. I'm going to be probably talking about Rebel Moon, which I'll be watching tomorrow. And then
good luck, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy, man. Enjoy.
And then, in the days to come, also, I'm catching up on a lot of movies from this past year because on January 2nd, I'm going to be also doing a live show where I talk about my favorite films of 2023.
Cool.
Okay. What is your top 3? Quickly.
Without telling you the order, because quite frankly, I'm not totally sure of the order. Oppenheimer, Tetris, and Godzilla -1.
All good films.
I just sent you the link to
I'll whack that in the chat. Thank you, Leroy. Enzo, what you got coming up?
Well, me and Uninspired Reviewer just did a riff of Santa's Sleigh.
Nice.
SLAY, starring wrestler Bill Goldberg.
Oh, such a good movie.
He goes around killing people with sharpened candy canes and stuff, and it's pretty wild. Yeah, and then after that, I think New Year's Day, we're going to stream on my channel, do another Jackbox stream like we did on Halloween. Just play some Jackbox games and goof off. I don't pay for StreamYard, so I used most of my 20 hours a month last night on the Godzilla stream. So we'll see. I'm thinking I might, do a Jackbox stream next Monday, and then maybe on the 8th, do a little surprise for y'all. We'll see.
Oh, sounds good. Fantastic
but
stuff.
Also, I'll be on Blue Collars tonight, and then I'll also be on Desolate Souls channel Thursday to talk about episode 6 of Blue Eye Samurai.
Yeah.
And wherever else the wind takes me, back here on Tuesdays. It's fun.
Well, I just want to say to all my guests, thank you for coming on to this special episode of the Nielsen Ratings.
Thank you for inviting us, man.
Thanks for having me on as well.
I'm still not 100%, but I do appreciate you coming on.
Also, 110%, buddy.
I just also want to thank those guests of mine, both those here tonight and also others who are not here today, who have collaborated with me this year, have popped on streams, whether it's one of the other episodes of this or whether you came on the movie quiz or whenever. I'm very grateful for the collaborations. Look forward to doing more of those in 2024, along with my usual industry interviews, of which I've already got 4 booked for January. So we're looking good there. So do look out for those. They're going to be a lot of fun. I've got some of them during the day because that's when my guests are available. So they will be at slightly different times. They won't all be in the evening. But until then, thanks for everyone for attending. Don't forget to tell your friends that you care about, that you love them. If there's somebody you haven't called this Christmas, who you're particularly, wondering how they're faring, well, fuck all this voice note shit. Just actually pick up the phone and give him a ring. Give him a ring. Give him a
Amen
call.
to that.
Give him a call,
Hallelujah.
man. The sort of thing you used to do in the 1980s when John Hughes films were king. Until next time, we'll see you all again real soon.
All right,
Later.
take care.